Guys, welcome back to the ASL Season 20 qualifiers. This is day 2, part 2. We're going to go for Group 7 to start. And I have to start this by saying that everything you've seen so far actually pales in comparison to what you see on screen right now. This is absolutely insane. Mihu, a non-Korean player, is in the finals. I cannot even say how exciting this is. Okay? This is the greatest performance by a non-Korean player since 2004. Right here. This is it. Whatever is going to happen against Larva in the finals, this is like we're in 2025. The last time a non-Korean was in a Star League was in 2004. It was Elke. And I believe he got seeded into that one. So it was like his performance in the previous one is what had done it. So this is absolutely insane. I cannot believe it. And look at this. This was not an easy path. Some Zerg, okay. I don't know who that is. Piano was in the finals of a group yesterday. And Motive is one of the best new Protoss players. Motive probably looked at this group, and after he beat HM, who is so good, who had beat Spire, who is so good, Motive is probably thinking to himself, I can beat that whole side of the bracket. This is Prime, by the way, a very well-known aggressive Terran amateur. And then Larva, who Motive can beat Larva, like, absolutely. Not that he will every time, but, like, Mihu 2-0'd him. What in the hell? This is insane. This is the best run that we've seen. We saw last year Xiao Shui, the Chinese Zerg player, make top 4 of ACS. We saw earlier DeWalt had a great bracket. He took some great maps off of very strong players. Won one round as well against a strong amateur. But here Mihu is making it to the finals. I have chills. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So let's not wait. And here we are. No more waiting. We have in the top right, Mihu. In the bottom right, Larva. Larva, former ASL champion. Apparently back and in great shape. This is his second finals. He lost the other one to Mini. What can you even say about that? Mini is one of the strongest players in the world. You can't be surprised that he's able to take down Larva. Now he's playing against a Chinese player. How exciting is this? How exciting is this? Oh my God. Okay, so a couple things that are actually, like, I can't explain to you how happy I am for Mihu, because I know how hard he's been working. We actually were casting a fair amount of Mihu games in the last couple months on the channel, and I talked some about it, how Mihu has been practicing really hard. A lot of his Chinese fans have been funding him playing against pros, and he's been, like, seriously training harder than he really ever has before. And it's amazing to see this paying off. He's in the finals of a qualifier. I've said it enough times. It's amazing. Larva's going pool first because he doesn't want to get cheesed. But I want to point out this little side thing. Some of you longtime StarCraft fans might remember the Zotac Cup that myself, Day 9, Tasteless, and late friend In Control all casted a long time ago. Larva came over for that tournament. Footstar Gamer. You guys remember this when he played with his foot? That was against LX, right? If I'm remembering this correctly. Legend, LX from China. And it caused quite a ruckus. So I'm just throwing that out there as like a little bit of history. It didn't matter who he was against. He was planning on doing that. I actually got to hang out with Larva a lot at that event. He's actually a really good guy. He was just trying to be funny and have a good time. It had nothing to do with the fact that his opponent was Chinese there. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that because I kind of look at that and say, that's kind of funny, isn't it? He's playing a Chinese player here for a spot in ASL. Okay. 6 lings on the way. Like, he has to see the lings coming. Now, notice how Larva goes around. This is a little bit lucky for Larva. Mihu doesn't actually have a good wall. Normally, the barracks is forward a little bit, and there's a second depot on top of it, so that there's only one hole. Here, there's 2 holes. So that's an issue, and he doesn't have SCVs down there. Oh my God, Mihu turned the SCV. Uh-oh. 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 excellent by Mihu. I was holding... I'm sorry, I can't commentate. I just have to watch. I was holding my breath there. This is already a good opener from Larva. Oh, man. Really good opener from Larva. And I actually... You know what? I've been casting so much in these past few days trying to get all the qualifiers done. And I definitely talked about a little bit about the difference in the way that Korean pros look at the game and like non-Korean pros or Western pros, I guess, is the one I can speak for. I can't speak for the Chinese pros. But I mentioned that one of the things that I found surprising to learn was that they thought if you're the better player, you should attack. You shouldn't defend. Like a lot of in the Western scene, we're like, yeah, I mean, if you defend, they aren't going to be able to cheese you out. You're going to be able to make more decisions over longer term to come out ahead. In the Korean scene, they think that you should attack when you're way better, and you can see he just did that, and he just dealt damage to Mihu. So, kind of interesting to see. He is more experienced than Mihu. He has been a higher level than Mihu basically forever. The thing is, Mihu wins a lot of pro tournaments where he is playing live in front of fans and stuff. So, I don't want to say that he doesn't have like a lot of experience or something, but at this level, Larva's an ASL champ. So just wanted to point that out. Now Mihu comes down and attacks with 4 Marines. 6 Lings will be able to clear this. Pretty good micro from Mihu. He gets he did that about as well as you can. If there's 6 Lings and you kill 4 of them with your 4 Marines, I don't think there's much more you can ask for there than that. Now, Larva has the 3 hatches. He's going to drone heavily. Now, this is the problem when you do an attack like that. First off, the initial attack from Larva did a good job. Mihu counterattacked. I can't say anything negative about it because your opponent spent a bunch of Zerglings. So if he's only droning and you don't attack, you're in a lot of trouble. Now, the problem is when you lose those 4 Marines, the next move out that you are capable of doing is so far away that Larva doesn't really need to make anything. He can just sit here and make drones nonstop. So I think we will see just like lots of drones go up. Like notice he's at 21 right now. Just watch that number by the time he's ready to make his mutas. I would be surprised if it doesn't go up quite a bit. Okay, so really excellent opener from Larva overall. +1 on the way for Mihu. Adding a couple more barracks. He probably will just go 3 racks here. It's kind of a funky looking build. Everything has been kind of thrown off a little bit. Spire's still on the way. He's already made 7 drones, by the way. Notice how he's just not making anything but drones. In a more normal game where you didn't throw away any Marines, like no Marines have been lost yet, he has to actually be a little bit more careful, scouting some. You know, Mihu could be pushing out and trying to fake that he has, like, that he's going to attack or something like that, force some Lings, that type of thing. But yeah, you can see, like, this is a very high drone count to have right now compared to Terran. 32 to 30. How many games do we watch where, you know, mutas are attacking and it's 19 drones against 33 SCVs? A lot. A lot. So Larva has taken an advantage. Missile turrets going up. Mihu's position isn't unplayable, by the way. Like, I wanna underline what's being done that's really, really intelligent here and what the mistakes are, but like the position is still a playable position. Mihu's floating this back, he's making plenty of missile turrets, he's getting range already. You know, he has +1 on the way, pretty well defended. He does need to start a factory. He doesn't have a lot of wiggle room to wait any longer on the factory. So I really hope for his sake that we see that get started, like, in the next few seconds. Because we're already kind of entering a really late area for that. You know, you want that factory started by 7 minutes. And we're starting... Yeah, this is closer to 7:20. Again, not the end of the world, but makes it more difficult. Larva getting in here. He takes out that 1 turret behind very quickly, picking off a few SCVs. Mihu's going to counterattack. He's pulling the trigger. This is going to force the mutas to come out. It was a very good move. If he hadn't done that, Larva would run away with the game right there. Like, if you try to go back and chase the mutas out with your Marines, you're screwed. So good move here from Mihu. Stims again. He's getting away from the wall. Look at how he moves away from the wall. Mihu with very good awareness of where those mutas should be. It's too many mutas. He can't attack. He should be pulling back or into an obscure position. Look at Larva comb the map. He's looking literally exactly for that. Those 3 Marines he just found, that's what he was looking for. He knows that Mihu's good enough to do something like send some units out looking for his base to kill drones. Great catch from Larva. Larva pretty dialed in this game. Cannot lie about that. Pretty damn dialed in. Man. I'm like wiggly right now. Okay, add-on and starport. It's questionable whether he'll get a siege tank push to work here, but the Queen's Nest is slightly late, so I can't actually fault him for this idea. I think it's a fair idea based on these positions to try a siege tank push all in. Well, it wouldn't be 100% all in, but pretty all in. Like, it's going to feel all in because of how good Larva is. If you don't kill him with it, it's... I would give him great odds against Flash. If you give Flash his position, say, try to kill him with a siege tank push, I give Flash 40% to kill him with it. And if he doesn't kill him with it, I give Larva 90% to win from there. Okay, that's the kind of odds that I would approximately assign to everything. Which is why I'm like, yeah, this is kind of all in, this push. It's because of the skill level with which Larva will continue the game forward against a lack of pressure. His drone count still magnificent. Second siege tank on the way. Science facility coming up. How much Marine Medic do we actually have? Because he's going to have to push out those tanks as quickly as possible. In my opinion, in this type of spot, you should push out before your vessel. All right, Mihu stays away from that. He doesn't want the bouncing glaives. Just gives up the depot. I think it's a good play. His Marine count is really not that high. It looks like he will wait for the vessel. Doesn't have a radiate started yet. Probably wants to try to get that. Filer mound already started. Yeah, you know what? This is getting worse and worse. This is why I was saying you should push out with the siege tanks as soon as you have them. Like, as soon as you hit 2... bank scans, move across the map. If he was sieging him right now, I'd give him a chance. And he could have been across there, but like waiting for the vessel, the way the timing works out, the vessel is a lot later than 2 siege tanks. So he's going to do a 3 siege tank push out. 3 siege tanks do one-shot a lurker. So still, some potential. It's just that Filer Mound is about to finish. Consume's going to get started immediately. A few tactics here and there. Look at this hold position lurker. Just out of range of where this is going to be seen. But look, he chases that. That's actually a bit of a mistake because now the vessel is caught up. If the vessel hadn't caught up, he had more potential for hitting a hold position lurker. By the way, I don't know why lurkers always walk north once you unburrow them. Happens like every single time. Now, he sieges up his lurkers once again, or burrows them, I guess, is the right terminology. Mihu's sieging up. He's going to try to push this down. Okay, a decent irradiate. You know, there is only one defiler here, so maybe that would have been a better target. Well, I would say because we can see that, it probably was a better target, but maybe he couldn't see that. Trying to push through. This was a good stalling tactic from Larva to have some sunkens out that far. Now, he stims forward. He heard the consume, so he's trying to make him consume, like, further back. Or Darkstorm further back. He doesn't want the Darkstorm up next to his siege tanks, because then he might lose them. So, good move there. Good forcing stim there from Mihu. All right. Larva is already taking a 4th base. That doesn't feel quite right. That is a really quick 4th. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here like really just thinking about how epic this is that I'm literally casting a non-Korean player 2 wins from getting into ASL. It's like making me quiet, and I'm thinking about it and pondering and thinking what a wonderful world this is. And now this is crazy to me that he is taking a 4th. This is like the fastest 4th base ever. If you see a 4th is fast, normally it's because they took the natural and are trying to take the main, and then you kill it with dropships. But like in this case, because the irradiates are going to be a little bit low because he went siege tanks, still kind of, you know, kind of doable. Now, Mihu just keeps rotating back and forth. This is very normal. You want to just keep going back and forth and poking, seeing if you can pick off a unit here, pick off a unit there, not have Zerg always know where you are, that type of thing. So he comes in. He's actually built up his vessels really well. I think he did a good job transitioning from the 3 siege tanks into 2 starport vessel. I have to give him some real props for that. I actually wonder if he slowed down either +2 attack or +1 armor to do that. Because it feels like he must have. This, like, his transition is very good. Very good. And he's got great supply. He's got a great SCV count. He's took a 3rd. He's taking a 4th. Mihu is legit, man. He's legit as hell. This is some sick play we're looking at out of him. It is so refreshing to see. God, I want him in ASL. Imagine that. Imagine how, like, StarCraft 1 is already doing well in China. If Mihu gets into ASL, holy crap. I'm covered in goosebumps right now. Just thinking about that. You ever wonder why Warcraft 3 got so big in China? Because Sky won. He became the world champion. You get Mihu in ASL? Oh my god. Just insanity. Okay, 3 starports are up. Dude, Mihu is playing seriously so good. He's playing so well right now. But Larva is on 4 base. Larva's not sweating, just to make this clear. Even though I'm like gushing over how well Mihu's playing, he's gushing all over the Marines with Plague. Like, Larva knows what he's doing. He's really good at 4 base Hive. He's one of the best players at 4 base Hive, without question. Always has been. I remember way back, even in like 2018, maybe 2019, we were talking about how Sulky and Larva are the really great 4 base players. And now look at what Sulky's done. And obviously Larva has a championship himself. So like this type of position, Larva is super good from. Now, mass dropships coming out. Great to see because he's got a lot of vessels. It's hard to manage more vessels than what he's got. So he's gone into some dropships. I think he has some potential for damage here. One thing I do want to note is look at the mini-map and how many yellow dots there are. I would love to see him somehow clean that up, but that's like, I don't ever see any Terran player clean all those up. Maybe like if you get battlecruisers out there, attack, move across, and clear a few. But like, it's very hard to do anything dedicated to clear them. Look, he just scanned for them. He's trying to avoid them because if you see this incoming and then he irradiates this, now that is a huge tell. Once that gets irradiated, as Larva, you're like, a drop's coming. 100%. Drop is coming. Or maybe he's not. I don't see him moving any units up towards that area. Okay, the Overlord has died, so he's going to try the dropships now. Honestly, this is a great situation for Optic Flare. I've tried utilizing that a little bit. I think it is actually something that could happen in the next couple of years, is for these situations, use Optical Flare to blind the Overlords that would see your drop. Okay, here we go. Coming in. The Lurkers are really well placed. And as soon as Ultras are out, it's really hard to make drops work well. But that's only 1 Ultra, so not that big a deal. Mihu's taken a couple very good engages here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Larva going to clean that up. He's going to clean that up. Again, Larva is playing like really well here. Going to pick off a few of those plague vessels. Mihu has a ton of supply. I'm surprised he's only 2-1. That doesn't feel right. I feel like he should be 3-2 right now. I think he may have missed an upgrade. He also, yeah, he doesn't even have 3-2 going. Oh, boy. Okay, so he did miss something. Mihu's been playing great, but he did miss 3-2. And also, like I said before, the transition to vessels looked suspiciously good, so he might have, like, slowed an upgrade down for that. Because it's, like, so gas-intensive to do. Okay, a lot of Marines just kind of flowing all around the map. Mihu's doing a good job of keeping pressure on. Still a big bank for him. Top left did get shut down. Didn't really get to talk about that too much. 12 o'clock is being taken. Larva's starting to push out some with these ultras. He doesn't have his 5th carapace upgrade yet, but when he gets it, it's going to be really painful for Mihu. Mihu did have +2 armor finish in between when we clicked on a Marine and checked the eBays. It's my bad on that, but no 3-3 started. Okay. Larva is taking this game over completely now. We're getting into that position where there's really not much left for Terran to do. Zerg is running around hitting places. The upgrades are looking really good. Plagues everywhere. Darkstorms everywhere. And you'd need to hold him off of doing anything else for another 4 or 5 minutes to win this game as Mihu. And I don't foresee that occurring. All right, this is a pretty good drop. Like, he's getting a fair amount of drones. He's going to get an Ultra there, got a few other high-tech units, like a Lurker or two. Pushing in to take out the 5th. It looks like there is a 6th base on the way to the 3rd base above this. So that's kind of an interesting, sneaky location from Larva. Ultra's having a hard time actually getting through here. I'm surprised Larva doesn't have the +5 carapace. Oh, it just finishes. We were clicked on there. Yeah, definitely about time for that. Yeah, that additional carapace is going to make it a lot harder to take these engages, that's for sure. Plague, yeah. A lot of damage being dealt to Mihu. That 4th base is going to be lifted. His main and natural are empty. Okay, so battle cruisers are going to be next. Battle cruisers are definitely a good choice. Maybe they should have come out earlier. This feels like a last-ditch effort in some ways. Like, battle cruisers are a little bit better for pressure. You can use them somewhat defensively, but yeah, seems just slightly off. Oh, Darkstorm as well. You appear at a base of the Darkstorm, it's going down. Mihu having a hard time keeping anything mining right now. A lot of irradiates coming down. You can see just like Larva is getting more and more on the map. Like once you lose map control, there's not a lot left because Zerg just shows up places and shuts them down. Like without that map control and keeping defilers back, keeping Lings and Ultras from running rampant, there's just like not a ton of options. Now, a bunch of irradiated Ultras come up here. They'll actually kill SCVs quicker because of that, unfortunately. It actually is like a buff in this particular circumstance. But yeah, Mihu, I think, is really on his last legs now. Larva does have another gas going. It's another about 2 minutes before a bunch of his gas goes dry, but he's already secured some more. So his unit production is going to look really similar to what it's looked like this entire game. He's up in supply, which is never good in this matchup. Yeah, the battle cruisers, too little, too late. Would have loved to see those a little bit earlier. This was a monster game from Mihu. Mihu would have beaten a lot of Zerg players with this game. I think that for Larva, him recognizing how quickly he could take that 4th base and then holding it as well was such a key element to why this went his way. Really, really impressed with both sides. But Larva is pulling him apart now. There's just really no way to keep any of this going anymore. Dark Storms are going up everywhere. Mihu is hemorrhaging units left and right. The Radiates continue to be cast, but yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a GG. One thing that can definitely be said about the Chinese players in general, and definitely Mihu in particular, they don't leave the game quick. GG. Larva wins game 1, but it's a good one. All right, getting into game number 2 here. Mihu going up against Larva. We're cross spawn on Metropolis here. Of course, Larva winning game 1 on match point to get into the ASL. I think whoever wins here, people will be very, very excited about. Amazing to have Larva back, but again, the most impressive thing we've seen in a very long time. Now, that right there is a little forward 8 racks from Mihu. So, kind of interesting he's making 8 racks right there. Unfortunately for him, like, this can be an okay build if they're close spawn. When it's a forward barracks and you're cross spawn, that is going to make it a lot harder to get any actual damage done. And that's considering, like, even if it's hatchery first, the travel distance is just very, very far. So the odds of damage being done, like, Mihu would have to get pretty lucky here. Now, that being said, because it's like a walled 8 racks, you're not out of the game if this doesn't do damage. An 8 racks is more of a pressure build than an all-in. Just because it gets stopped doesn't mean you're done. Now, generally we consider like a forward 8 racks. If it kills 2 drones, you're right around even. So we'll see if he's able to get that. I don't think he'll be able to get that. I think he's going to get probably 1 or 0 drones. But yeah, there is some potential here. Now, this SCV, these 2 SCVs checking the other naturals, and in fact going to pop up into the main base because he thinks there could be a pool first. Yeah, he sees the Overlord coming in, so knows that he is top left. So that's unfortunate there for Mihu continually making these Marines. This might be a good situation for making like 4 Marines and moving, but there's a drone coming as well, so a little bit harder to get that done. The drone going to see 2 Marines moving out. Yeah, and you can kind of see how this just is not likely to work at this point. Larva probably going to save up those Larva so that he has the defensive capabilities of making those Zerglings. So some drones going to be coming down. He's going to make sure that you can't get a bunker up here. And this is where you're really trying to maybe get a kill. We'll see if he can get a... Yeah, see, already having to cancel that. The 5 drones pushing everything away. And the spawning pool is finishing right now. So, you know, we just have to sit here and wait. In like 20 seconds, there will be Lings actually attacking all this. That bunker is... Yeah, I mean, it's... He has to try it. He has to get it out. Starts a secondary one. But as you can see, this is not looking particularly good right now. Okay, he gets 1 in, but yeah, 1 is not that good, as you can see. One Marine in a bunker. It's like, yeah, I guess it's a lot of health. But absolutely nothing ends up working out. Look at this, 15 or 16 SCVs right now against 11 drones. He's already got that creep colony. He can send his Lings across the map. Not that he'll do anything because it is a wall. But Larva definitely taking a pretty good advantage here. Unfortunate that it wasn't closer spawn, or he might have actually gotten a little bit of damage done. But no real drones killed. You know, you force some Lings. You force a little bit of lost mining time. You force a creep colony. But that's about it. So Larva in a good position. You can see his drone count is very, very nice. Oh, no. Oh, it's getting worse, unfortunately. Yeah, that's pretty much game. Going even worse than I thought it would there. A good counterattack from Larva. Mihu should have had an SCV there. The thing is, he was already pretty far behind. And Larva's the type of player that probably won't let you come back from that. Wow, that was a very good drill. That's a great trap that he just set. Wow, that he actually cleaned that up so well. Larva falling into Mihu's little SCV box there. Gonna send out another SCV and just make sure that there aren't a lot of Lings being made. Okay, so how do you start to try to come back from here? No, really, I'm asking you. How do you start to come back from here? I wish I had an easy answer, because obviously it's already going into like a 2 rack. So when you see 2 racks like this, it's going to have to be Academy. No super fast, like +1 upgrades or anything like that. No super fast factory. I think you're mostly just going to have to play a pretty defensive game, have well-placed missile turrets, have good marine movement within your base, and get up into starport tech. Yeah, I feel like you have to go into vessels here and try to make something work. Maybe you go like 2 vessels into 4 dropship, that type of thing. It's like you have to take like some sort of risk, but you also have to deal with the mutas first. You can't just like blindly go dropship most of the time because the mutas will just crush you. So you need to have like some sort of splash damage against that. It could be like a Valkyrie into that, but Valkyrie doesn't feel quite right here. Everything's like a little bit slow. But you could try something like that here. So eBay and Academy coming up right now for Mihu. Yeah, the SCV just kind of coming back. Third hatch is up in that main base. Bottom left main being taken. That wasn't what I really expected there. It's a little bit more attackable, I think, than some of these other potential thirds. I feel like 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock would have been a little bit better for Larva, a little bit safer, but I guess he's not too worried about safety, nor should he be, really. All right, so Muta's on the way. Plenty of drones. 25 drones against 28 SCVs is pretty rough. You know, you're looking to have, before you start your turrets, 32, 33 SCVs is a good, solid, like, median number for what you should have when the turrets start against 2-hatch Muta. So his economy is significantly lower than it really should be at the moment. He has made that bunker. He's going to try to reinforce some of these missile turrets. He should be able to just hold on against the mutas. Like, I don't think the mutas will do anything to start. Like, they'll just kind of poke in and check and make sure everything is defended as it should be. I don't think Mihu's started range yet either. But yeah, some very good turret placement. Definitely something that's needed. The 7 mutas trying to get some SCV pickoffs here. Just picking off anything right now is very, very strong because of the reduced overall SCV count. Now, the stim up of the Marines will help to push those back a little bit. A couple of those very low. Larva does pull those out of the group. And yeah, he's just kind of starting to grind Mihu down a little bit. Hard for Mihu to really replace a lot of this, like the Marines or the SCVs, because the SCVs are already very low. He's only on 2 racks for the Marines, and he's actually going into factory, which I don't mind. I think you do need to take a risk like that, but he probably needs some additional missile turrets. Like, realistically, if you're on only 2 racks, first off, you can't ever really leave your base because you can't remake the army that you have. And there's some real potential of them just kind of breaking you because you don't have as many units. Like, as soon as they get 1 good engage on your Marines, making 2 Marines at a time does not refill well. A lot of Lings coming in. Larva might be going for a killing blow. He actually hasn't really gotten drones up. So, you know, he's just now got a few drones mining at that 3rd base. Really been focusing more heavily on getting a bit of damage, a bit of harassment done with these mutas. Quite a few Lings coming in. Yeah, trying to go for the kill. The medics being in front is really good, and he actually picks the medics off. That was really swift decision-making there from Mihu. I really, really like that, keeping those medics in front. It actually blocked the Lings, but Larva very, very quickly targeted down those medics. Those are the highest value units that he has right now, and pulled the Lings away. Really, really well done from Larva, as would be expected from a champion. All right, comes in for these missile turrets. He can see, in fact, that there's an add-on for the factory. And already these factory pushes are very hard to pull off. It seems like Mihu really does like them right now. I'm actually not too surprised. It almost feels like the meta has gone a little bit towards that. Like, players are going Hive just slightly slower than they were before. I think because the confidence in Hive tech is really high on Zergs right now, that they can slow the Hive slightly to strengthen the mid game. Because I've been seeing a lot of the tank pushes. I've actually even been having to use them myself a little bit because you kind of scan and you see, oh gosh, he's not going Hive yet. Like, I mean, the timing's there. Let's go. This is going to be a Valkyrie build as well. Yeah, it looks like Burrow was being used there for a second. Kind of interesting. I don't know if that finished or that was canceled. One or the other there. I guess we'll see. He starts burrowing lings around the map. And Mihu going to start moving out. But his Marine Medic group is so small, it might actually just get eliminated by the Mutaling. Like, these Mutas can beat all that. Takes a little bit of micro, but you will absolutely be able to destroy that. Now, he dives for the turret. Yeah. Mihu's grasping for straws right now with all these plays that he's making. Few lurkers out on the map. Could do a hold position, especially considering, you know, there's no science vessel on the way. And one good hold position lurker will basically end this game. Nidus is up. Yeah, with Nidus up already, like, Consume is not far off. 2 Siege Shanks coming out. Larva, actually, look at Larva's supply compared to Mihu's. My gosh, that is insane. All right, not the best position for the lurkers. If he had made a beeline over to the bottom left, those would have worked perfectly, but yeah, wasn't meant to be. Muta's coming down to deal with this Valkyrie. Valkyrie not even getting shots off. Okay, finally gets one, but that's going to get eliminated as well. Well, that wasn't good. Larva throwing away every single Muta he has. Pretty bad move there, but Consume is done. So, yeah, he's going to throw up a single Dark Swarm, and this is going to basically disable the push all the way. Lurkers running up. Going to take a little bit of splash damage before they burrow there. And a Dark Swarm push into the natural. This is actually going to finish the game. There's really not much left there. Now, Mihu, of course, he stays in games till he's, like, actually done. Till he's actually dead, if he thinks there's even a 1% chance he stays in the game. But I got to tell you, this is not a position anyone's going to win. All right, so Larva is going to take this series 2-0, but again, I can't possibly overstate how impressive it is that Mihu made it to this finals and played this well. GG, Larva advances to ASL. Okay, so this is absolutely crazy. I can't even believe this. Fangzi, one of the best Chinese Zerg players, has made it to a finals. This is the most impressive thing that anyone has done for players outside of Korea since about 30 seconds ago, where Mihu did the same thing here as well. This is unreal. I cannot believe it. So Fangzi, if he makes it into ASL, he will be tied for the oldest player ever to do it. He is, or actually, I think he's actually even maybe older than Nada. No, actually, they're the same age. They're the same age. So Fangzi was born in 1984. This guy is over 40 years old. This is absolutely insane. I can't even explain to you how impressed I am that Fangzi has been able to do this. Yeah, he's been known forever. He's been around forever. Everyone kind of likes Fangzi, and this is a huge result. Taking a look at who he beat, he took out Youngju, who just made top 4 in the ACS for this season. So that's pretty impressive, a 2-0. Then he beat this Protoss guy. I actually don't know who that is. And then he took out Harangi 2-1. Now, Harangi, to be fair, is not really that great PvZ, but he is a pro that's been in ASL multiple times. So that is a solid victory there. This is huge. I cannot believe that we get a second shot. That is 2 non-Korean players in the finals of an ASL bracket in the same season. I'm getting a little bit wiggly waiting for the other brackets to see maybe Xiao Shui or Zhang Hun has done that as well. The Chinese scene, guys, is really blossoming right now. And there is some serious potential that we're going to have a couple of almost rival scenes. If they continue to do this well, like, this is beyond any of my expectations for how well the Chinese players would perform here in 2025. I've been asked about this in the past, and I've always said that I think it's several years off, like a closer to like a maybe 2027, something like that, before a Chinese player can get into ASL. But we are so close right now, and that's That is really, really impressive. It shows you what a real pro scene can do. Well, let's look at the other side. This is a super stacked bracket here on the other side. So we have Baby, aka TY, one of the best StarCraft 2 players of all time and the youngest StarCraft 1 pro ever. And he took down some Zerg. He took down Cop, who actually had a great run on day one, 2-1 over Cop, so great for him. And then goes to the semifinal match and takes out Bako. Seems like Bako's doing pretty well. Like, this is not bad. Look, oh, Nada is eliminated by Bako. And Bako also takes out Midas, another kind of older, very strong Terran player who took out Judge. Judge is actually quite a good Zerg as well. So this was a really stacked bracket that TY comes out of. So TY versus Fangzi, like, I favor TY, but Fangzi is obviously on a great run. And yeah, TY sometimes plays kind of a tricky technical strategic style. TY's overall style is like kind of, it is macro oriented, but like very harassment based. I'm not sure how else to really put that. We're going to get into these games and I'll try to show it as he's playing. But yeah, he's always kind of been very like macro at home while harassing on the map type of style. He played that style in StarCraft 1. He played that style as he became one of the most successful StarCraft 2 players of all time. And he's back to StarCraft 1 playing that style once again. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it and see, are we going to have the first non-Korean player in a Star League since 2004? Let's start. All right, here we go. In the bottom right here of Radeon and map number 1, it is TY. And his opponent in the top right, it is Fangzi. This is, guys, I can't tell you how impressed I am. Like, I've known who Fangzi is forever. I've played him plenty of times over the years. As you know, like, we are two of the very oldest players that still play StarCraft. And the fact that he is performing like this is very impressive. Like, he's kept relevancy in the Chinese pro scene, and he's had pretty high MMR on the ladder and everything, but this is beyond any expectation that I really had for Fangzi. Like, we just... he's basically performing up to like a Nada level or maybe even above here. Like they're like the same age. So I just want to put that out there. Other than them, like the oldest active player, consistently active player in ASL is Stork. And Stork is like 5 years younger than these guys. So it's a huge difference. But yeah, it's incredibly impressive. Fangzi is a hard worker. You know, he's played StarCraft just about forever. And I love TY. Like, I love him from the StarCraft 2 days. He was my favorite player by miles in StarCraft 2. His style is so great. Like, he's what I think a StarCraft player actually should be. Like, for my own personal... the way that like I look at StarCraft and what I appreciate the most, in my opinion, TY is the smartest StarCraft 2 player ever. Like, you know, obviously I casted TY's entire career in StarCraft 2, like the entirety of it. I casted every GSL match he was in. I casted the foreign matches he was in. I'm unbelievably impressed by him because StarCraft 2 is actually like, strategy is very important in StarCraft 2 because the mechanics are a bit lower than StarCraft 1. So you can't just get through by being a mechanical god. You have to be very smart to utilize the strategies correctly and stuff. And that's like where TY outshined everyone. And I love the harassment-based style with macro behind. That just, to me, I think that's like a peak way to play. So yeah, this is, whoever wins this, I'm going to be over the moon. But I have to be completely truthful with you. I want Fangzi to win because I think it's just such a different beast if you get a non-Korean player into a Star League now 21 years after the last time it happened. So SCV's going up to Scout. We have almost the same color, magenta Terran, the greatest color of Terran. And yeah, we got purple Zerg up here for Fangzi. So the SCV is just kind of going back and forth. A TY going to poke a little bit. I'm actually very interested in how TY is going to try to play this because he's doing like a very standard opener here. This looks to me like it's probably going to be a 1-Rax Academy rush. We'll see in a moment. He's got to make his gas pretty soon here. Yeah, there's the gas. And, I mean, he has a wall. He could go Engineering Bay, but it does feel like it's an Academy rush. Which, actually, if you're playing against someone that you think might be more aggressive, Academy Rush is the safest opener Terran has. I'm surprised that he's walking all the way across with the 4 Marines, but I guess did he not get scouted by that Overlord? I guess not. So Fangzi pulls back with the 4 Lings, unless he has more Lings. Oh, he does. He has more Lings hatching. So actually, I think he might have seen that move out with that Overlord, and he crushes. So TY's build gets kind of wrecked here. That move, that Marine move out, especially with a 1-Rax play, it can be so good. It can win you the game if they're slightly unprepared. You get up there, you can kill the 4 Lings, and then you can also force drones away or maybe even kill some drones. And that gives you a good advantage. But when you just lose them, and he made the minimum amount of Lings that would allow him to do that, it pushes back any other pressure that you can get on. So right now, just looking purely at the positions at what's happened so far in this game, Fangzi is ahead. Now, does he have the skill to capitalize upon that? Well, right now, what you would generally want to do here is just add a lot of drones, as many drones as you possibly can. We can see that TY has gone 3 racks very, very quickly behind this to try to refill that Marine count. He'll have to start an eBay right now, as that Spire is over halfway done. Like, he actually needs the eBay right now. I'm actually a little bit nervous for him. Okay, there it is. That is actually a little bit late. TY might have to do a little push out with the Marine Medic to keep the mutas back. And, he'll probably be fine. There's, certain things you can do that forces them to stay back. And Fangzi doesn't have any Sunkens. Like, if he already had, for some reason, 2 Sunkens up, well, first off, he wouldn't be good enough to be in the finals. But something like that, actually, the mutas could actually cause some real damage because the turrets might not be ready in time. Either way, mutas are being morphed. Top left being taken here by Fangzi. A decent amount of Marines and Medics are ready. But the move out timings are all gone for TY. Like, he can still technically move forward, but it's not very strong. Now, turrets get started. Yeah, he's going to have those turrets just in the nick of time here. So, good job on that. Basically, see how the mutas are popping. Like, as the mutas are popping out, your turrets need to have started. Like, that's basically it. Because if they make a beeline to your base, the turrets will not be done if you start after there. So you have to be very careful at these times. And he's going to pull them up. He doesn't expect for TY's turrets to be a little bit late. And yeah, he has them just up in the nick of time and adding a few more. Okay, so, comes out and snipes a muta immediately. Very, very good pick off there. Factory on the way. TY's build looking strong. Fangzi getting another base up in that top left, getting the gas going immediately to be able to afford some more Mutalisks. So far, his Muta's not doing very much. All right, so a little bit of harassment going down. A little bit of harassment. Gets a few SCVs. Yeah, 24 drones against 30 SCVs. You're pretty happy with this as Fangzi. It's not a great economy for Terran right now. But, not the end of the world or anything for TY either. Hydralis Den goes up in that top left, splitting off some of these hurt mutas. All right, full group of mutas now for Fangzi. And once again, the add-on. See, I mentioned this in the Mihu series, that this has been a little bit trendy. A lot of people have been trying to put the pressure on with those siege tank pushes. It's just all about whether you get out there before Consume is ready. Now, this push is going to be a lot better than what we saw from Mihu in that previous game, because he hasn't taken, massive damage. His build is not actually behind or anything like that. But yeah, you're going to want to move pretty quickly. Generally with 2 tanks. A lot of people have been going 3 tank, but it just has to do with when the consume timing is. You need the potential to kill a hatchery before consume is done. And generally what that does is it forces Zerg to come out and actually fight. Like, a lot of times you won't actually end up killing the hatchery. If you do, the game ends. But, like, a lot of times what actually happens is they have to waste everything they have. All their mutas die, like, the lurkers die, and they just barely end up holding. But they keep the hatchery alive, and then you're ahead. Right? So that's like, the more common thing than actually killing the hatchery. Is Zerg has to battle and lose a lot of units. And in that way, like, if you can force something like that, the siege tank opening is better than a double starport opening. Because the double starport opening just gives you an additional irradiate. Whereas the siege tank opening, you get 2 siege tanks, sometimes 3 siege tanks. It's like, oh, you kill 4 lurkers? Well, that's better than a vessel. Oh, no. Fangzi is just bleeding out. He loses almost every muta. He loses the Overlord and a Hydra coming down. I don't know. Maybe the pressure is getting to him a little bit, but definitely some misplays here. TY, this is funny because he's doing a tank push, but he's actually just pushing the map right now. TY might just kill him. Okay, well, that lurker egg actually does kind of slow TY down. He decides not to dive beyond here, but he doesn't need to. He has 2 siege tanks coming, so he can bring up these siege tanks and go for it. Yeah, Defiler Mound just started. I think TY's push will end this game. The fact that he's already covered this ground with his Marine Medic and Fangzi wasn't able to slow him down, this is the thing where you actually need to slow this push slightly, make them utilize some scans, things like that. Because they have to move out before Vessel, or that's the best way to do it, is to move out before Vessel. But TY pushed everything back pre-Lurker, took no damage from the mutas, and now his siege tanks just immediately rally up. So you can see that this push is actually hitting faster than it normally does. All right, so sieging up these Sunkens. You know, Fangzi, a lot of times what you want to try to do here is catch the vessel coming up. But no, yeah, the vessel's literally already here. Man. TY is actually crushing face right now. This is pretty huge. Yeah, TY is just going to win with this push. It's pretty clear at this point. Like, the lurkers are spread out. He's trying to hold on. Yeah, anything popping out of this hatcher gets absolutely dissolved. GG is called. Game 1 goes to TY. All right, in the bottom right, we have TY. In the top left, we have Fangzi. We're on game number 2. TY, of course, absolutely crushed in game 1. Fangzi did not look sharp. His Mutalist harassment or control was very off. He pathed over a big Marine Medic cloud and just got completely destroyed there by the tank push. You know, I'm hoping to see a better game here. I'm hoping that, you know, these players that get to the finals can actually put up that final fight and make it in. TY gonna start off with a Wallen. And yeah, we're on Metropolis. It's cross spawn, so yeah, I don't have too much to really say about that. I think Fangzi is definitely better than what we saw there, but TY is, you know, one of these most impressive players. Even though he doesn't have great StarCraft 1 accomplishments as of yet, he really kind of like found his stride in StarCraft 2. Like, he was a strong player in StarCraft 1. He was like a Pro League player. You know, his ID was Baby because he was at the time, and he might actually have held the record. There was someone else that was really young too, but when he was drafted, he was the youngest drafted player ever. He was like 12 years old and drafted as a pro, which was absolutely insane. But yeah, he really he became the adult in StarCraft 2 and was unbelievably strong, unbelievably good. You know, I can't overstate how strong he was in StarCraft 2. And I know some StarCraft 1 fans are not StarCraft 2 fans, but like, trust me, the 2 games are the most similar. The most similar thing you can get to StarCraft 1 is StarCraft 2. And the skills do transfer over pretty well. So, yeah, you know, TY is incredibly strong. He is someone that I want to see in ASL every season, and I think he's someone that can really enhance the scene. Like, he's already brought StarCraft 2 strategies into StarCraft 1. For instance, you guys might remember on Blitz Y, the game he played against Jaedong, where he hit a factory on the side for vultures to run in. That was literally a StarCraft 2 strategy that he brought in and beat Jaedong with. So he kind of looks at and thinks about the game in a slightly different way. He actually he harasses with dropships later into the game than any other top Terran, to the point where Jinjin has actually translated videos where top pros are like, what is he doing? Why is he still harassing? But in StarCraft 2, that's the norm. Like in StarCraft 2, you know, it's because of the way it works, like you can do things like select a ton of workers and just tell them to build, like, okay, I want like 7 turrets here, and the turrets will build. There's not a question. You know, like units will move out of the way, the money gets spent immediately, they'll go over there and they'll build it. Or you can build out of all your barracks at one time, right? So because of the way it works mechanically, you can do things like harass all game long. In StarCraft 1, that's not the case. Now, TY still tries to harass all game long. And people look at that and say, oh, no, you need to be focusing on macro here, right? So that's one of the big differences between the two games. But with watching TY try to balance that is a very fascinating thing. And I think that there is room for some of that. I really do. Like, you have to be careful about not overdoing it, about making sure that you're still hitting your macro, that you're still hitting your defensive structures, things like that. But yeah, I think that the fresh perspective of some of these StarCraft 2 pros coming back to StarCraft 1, who've had experience in both games and are trying to meld the two together, those are some of the players I'm most excited about. MC, TY, Sue, these guys are all like borderline ASL level. And there's some other ones that are really good as well. Deer got really good. SOS got really good. Right? Like there's... I don't think either of them are really playing very much right now. True is really good right now. He was in ASL last season. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. So it's super cool to see. I love it. All right, so we have +1. We have Stim coming up. You know, he's going to go ahead and probably add 3 Raxes right now. Oh, okay. So while I was kind of trying to entertain you guys by talking about some ideas with the StarCraft 2 players, there's an evolution chamber up. So we're actually going to see Crazy Zerg, which of course I invented and named. But yeah, Crazy Zerg is going to be coming, and it will be very interesting to see how TY deals with this. So it's a 4x +1. So there's a few different ways that you can try to deal with Crazy Zerg with this opener. Number one would be one that almost no one does, which is to try to very quickly get your factory and get up to science facilities so you can keep up on upgrades. The problem with very fast +1 builds is that +2 is slower than a slower +1 build. How could that be, Artosis? Well, with let's say an Academy Rush, yes, your eBay comes up a little bit later, so you don't really have like a +1 timing. Yeah, see, he sees that it's Crazy Zerg now. But your starports will come up a little bit quicker, and thus your science facility, and thus you get your... Yeah, see how quickly he starts this? Sub 6 minutes? Right? So the normal timing for getting that factory with a +1 opener is between 6:30 and 7 minutes. So he instantly threw it down because he scanned and saw the evolution chamber. Okay, see, this is why I love TY. This is why I truly love TY, because I was about to talk for like 3 minutes about why most pro Terrans won't do this and instead will just go Mass Marine Medic and try to bust. But the Mass Marine Medic try to bust is relying on your opponent making the mistake of not recognizing what you're doing and adding a million Sunkens. Because as soon as they do that, your build falls apart. So he scanned, he saw the evolution chamber done before the Spire, and he knows it's Crazy Zerg, and he instantly said, we will cut Marines, and we will rush to +2. In my opinion, perfect choice. A little bit harder to win like this, but look at this. Notice how he's only starting 1 starport as well. He can't really afford going directly into 2 starport. He will add a second, relatively soon. This is why I love TY. He's smarter than everyone. I think he's going to be in StarCraft 2 as well. I mean, in StarCraft 1 as well. Okay, he sees the second Evo. There's no question as to what's going on. Like, this is just the straightest Crazy Zerg ever. Very hard to play against. There's already 3 gases out. That makes it even tougher. Multiple Sunkens at both. This little group of mutas doesn't do much. It forces missile turrets. You don't do a whole lot with them. They don't matter that much. It's all about hitting your +2 carapace, your chitinous plating, getting your ultralisk speed, And what you do from there is you mass expand on the map as you start to gain map control. Man, I'm actually very excited about this. Notice how he's going just one starport. He actually has to throw down the second eBay. Where's the second eBay? Like, this actually could be an issue for him. You have to start the second eBay when you start the science facility to do this correctly. I might have just missed where it is, but hopefully he does have that on the way. Because, like, you can't miss a second getting up to +2 attack. Whoever's ahead in Ultras versus Marines, whoever's ahead on an armor or attack upgrade, destroys. It's not even close. There's the Ultraless Cavern. Crazy Zerg, the easiest strategy. It's evilly easy. Like, no, he hasn't really done much, right? It's like, okay, yeah, he just came in and killed a few Marines here. This doesn't change the math of the game very much, but it's mostly about just checking what your opponent is doing and making sure you have enough Sunkens and you're clicking the Carapace upgrade. I don't want to talk trash, but, like, I'm completely serious here. This is this is one of the easiest builds in the world. In fact, the pro Zergs have made guides. They're like, oh, are you a newbie that wants to get a high rank? Use this build. I am literally not joking. There's some translated versions if you're a Zerg player. But no, I'm not going to link you because you shouldn't be doing this build because it's evil. No, you can just search for it on YouTube. You'll find it. Okay, so you know, he's got a radiate, so the radiate is obviously for those mutas. A fair amount of Marines. He is moving out. Now, this pressure, like, he'll be able to cancel bottom left. But generally what happens is you're going to mass expand as Fangzi. Like, as your ultras start to pop, you'll expand to, like, different corners and stuff. So it's really hard to eliminate every base. Because if you get a 4th gas up and running, the ultraless count becomes too high. On 3 gas, you can kind of deal with this. On 4 gas, you really can't. And a really optimized ultra build, like you guys might recall when Soul Key just attack moved light. He did nothing all game, then he attack moved and won. Yeah, we could end up seeing something like that out of Fangzi because he hasn't been hurt at all. Now, TY is removing those minerals so he can move up the ramp really quickly. He does have enough to bust 4 Sunkens. You don't want the medics to get in the way. A little bit tricky to take this engage correctly. Really good defense so far, and as the ultras come out, this becomes harder. Oh my god, they're dancing all over each other for days. Okay, so Fangzi is probably going to win this game. When you lose one group of Marine Medic, playing against Crazy Zerg, you're in a lot of trouble. And he just had his Carapace upgrade finish, and it's 1-1. So the ultras will start to dominate here, but +2 is on the way for TY. We never saw exactly when he made his second eBay, but we have to assume he did because he went for this counter. But yeah, right now it's like the 4 Carapace upgrade, like +2 from Chitinous and then +2 from Evolution Chamber. Whereas the Marines are on +1. They need the +2 to be able to fight. They just get completely wrecked otherwise. 38 workers against 37. He's got that 4th base in the bottom left. TY, like, is such a smart player, such a good player, has been in ASL before, but he's looking pretty slammed right now. I'm really not joking that this is, like, the easiest strategy in the whole world. All right, some drones popping up at that bottom left. He's made a big group of Marine Medic. You have to kind of rely on having critical mass where the melee units have a harder time engaging. And as Fangzi, there's 2 different ways you can play. You just keep running away and then find a good surface area with more and more units and surround. Or you counterattack. Now, he's going to attack in, but this is actually a terrible attack in. Like, he went in a line. You kind of have to make sure you're hitting everything at once. You're playing with melee units, so you have to be careful about that. He runs up the ramp. You can't really attack up the ramp. The irradiates will put a little bit of damage on these ultras, which is nice, but you cannot really attack up that ramp. New base is coming up. It is a lot of Marines and Medics. His supply is peaking a little bit. He's up about 25 supply. Okay, he's going to try to attack up the ramp, but a flank should come in, and any Marines that are not up the ramp are missing half their shots there. All right, he looks like he's actually breaking a few ultras. More ultras coming in from behind. The medic's getting in the way a little bit. Medic walls are very useful. You can see one ultra here actually having a very hard time getting in on top of everything. He is eliminating a lot of these Marines. Pulls back a little bit. More and more Marines coming up. Great irradiate. TY is putting out a very high-quality game considering what's already happened here. Ultra just kind of runs to its death, unfortunately. Trying to go after these sunks once again. Single Ultra in here to help. A few more coming in. I know some of you were looking at this and saying, see, Artosis, it's not the easiest strat. And now you're eating your words. Because he's not breaking it. He's not breaking it. Look at the supplies right now. Look at how we're on more drones for Zerg. How he's attack moving in lines and not all together. And he's beating the Marines. Not looking super hot here for TY. So we're now on 5 gas. We're on 5 gas. The amount of ultras you're about to see hatch is downright silly. 2-2 upgrades here for TY. He's still on only 2 base. Very, very tough place to play from is TY. All right, more Sunkens going up. He just wants to slow TY's movement. The thing is, TY can kill a base, and Fangzi is still in good shape. All right, Stims up. Really badly wants to get this base. Ultra's already there to help push this back. You know, the Sunken's just adding a little bit of damage into this and just adding something that the Marines have to target is very, very good. It's very useful. A bunch of ultras attacking up towards these Marines. All right, keeping the medics in front. Look at how he spread the medics in front there. He's trying to reduce the surface area that ultras can get on him, and he's doing a great job. You can see Fengxi's just attacking in, and he has like 3 to 4 ultras not attacking at a time here. So TY is like maximizing what he has and, you know, does a lot of damage to those ultras, does force him to turn away. Double eBay is upgrading. He has to have +3 attack on the way. His minerals are going to end up running out. It's really hard to even expand during doing this because you have to like maximize your Marine count as well. He's on 37 SCVs. Obviously, some things have gone wrong here. He's sending out a drop. You know, if there's even one ultra in a base, the drop ends up not working. Kind of sending this to the side. Fengzi has seen it. He's sent some units through that Nidus as well. So not likely to have very much success with this. Trying to target down the hatch. Not a bad idea. Gets the hatch. Doesn't really pick anything up in that dropship. So, yeah, a little bit of damage at least. Denies one of those gases for the time being. Look at the bank of Fangzi, by the way. He can produce like 8 ultras right now. I'm not sure why he's not. And the other thing here is like, okay, we're getting into this game where you absolutely can't go on the map anymore as TY because the amount of ultras is going to get insane and the surface area they'll just crush you on open ground. So you have to kind of sit in chokes. But as soon as you start sitting in chokes in a situation like this, Zerg just adds the Defiler Mound. And then it's like, okay, well, now we have Plague and Darksword as well. So Fengzi attacking in, the medics staying in the way. TY is doing a great job keeping his medics in front, as you can see. But the ultras just keep on flowing in, keep attack moving, and he's crushing the army. Fengzi is looking like he's going to win a game here in the finals of a group. Look at that supply differential. 135, 102, 52 drones to 37 SCVs. No third base for TY. TY is about to mine out in his main. He's kept his SCV count low, which is actually probably the correct call in this game. so that he doesn't just mine out his mineral patches immediately. Overproduction of workers is meant for worker transfers. But if you're going to have a hard time transferring, then it's like, well, you know. He actually is going to long distance mine from the center, which makes a lot of sense because he's moving through the center right now, so it kind of blocks it. I kind of like the idea, but like he's pretty dead and he knows it. All right, bunch of ultras attacking in once again. Just so many. And no real chance here. GG is called, and it is 1-1. And we go into our third and final game here on Polestar. This is so unbelievably hype. We have Fangzi in the bottom right, and in the top right, we have TY. Okay. So Fangzi won with Crazy Zerg. Does he try that strategy again? There were maybe a few little kind of hairy moments. You know, I think people are probably also looking at this and saying, okay, there has to be something else against Crazy Zerg. And here is like the actual truth of it. Okay, so Crazy Zerg got really popular for a moment, and Terran players had a few different ideas. There's a few different things that people have tried. Okay, so if it's a sunken defense-based, Nada did a nuke rush against Larva in an ASL season and was seconds from winning the game when his ghost died. I think the ghost rush, like the nuke rush, actually has legs to stand on against specifically the sunken heavy style of Crazy Zerg. There's other styles as well, like a counterattack heavy Crazy Zerg with lots of lings and stuff. But okay, so there's that. You can try a tank push all in. That is a realistic idea. The thing is, with the tank push all in, your upgrades are slow because you just have to focus on getting siege tanks out. I think that's a reasonable way to try to just end the game immediately. Historically, it hasn't worked well at the pro level. There's getting your upgrades very quickly, and there's just massive marine bust. Those are basically the only ways that people have had any success. You know, dropship play generally doesn't work. Just mass marine medic with vessels is not super great. And there's some issues with that. Like if you are massing up vessels and trying to play a normal game, first off, if you irradiate the ultras, that basically gives them a thorn aura when they're attacking the marines. So you have to be careful about when you irradiate. Also, the AI that we have, by the way, there is a little bit of a marine rush going on here. I don't think it's going to do too much, but we'll keep an eye on it. When the ultras attack in, basically the marines attack the ultras. So it's what? I can't believe he's actually getting this much done with this. So they don't target Scourge. So basically mass Scourge come in and kill your vessels, and it's very hard because you have to target each individual Scourge, which is very, very difficult to do mid-battle. Anyways, enough of that. We have like a very weird bunker rush with one marine going on. He is trying to get a couple more down. This actually has some good potential at this point, I guess. Well, he runs some marines past. Like, this is definitely highly annoying. The Sunken should be able to deal with everything. Okay, who's ahead here? Let me take a look. 20 SCVs to 11 drones. So he definitely forced like a Sunken and more Lings than you would want out of this kind of weird bunker rush. He definitely needs to keep SCVs in front of this little wall here. Woo! Very good. Very good. And the SCVs go up. Excellent block from TY. Excellent block. Okay, time for TY to just kind of go back into his base and play. Okay, I would say TY has a slight edge right now, but he did lose 2 bunkers, so it wasn't like perfect. Definitely very playable on both sides. Okay, anyways, we'll see in a second here if it's going to be Crazy Zerg or not. A +1 build here from TY. Wow, I'm surprised he tried to attack again. Fangzi maybe a little bit desperate there. I don't see an evolution chamber as of yet, so he might just be saying, okay, that's a one-off. I'm not going to do that again. Nothing about this map screams good for Crazy Zerg. Not that there's necessarily a bad map for Crazy Zerg, but like it's kind of more comfortable to attack the natural here than it is on the last map, Metropolis. So like if you were going to do a massive Marine medic bust, it would work better on this map than the previous map. Like that's what I would do on this particular map, is if I saw Crazy Zerg, I'd probably go 8 racks and just try to break through before the ultras are ready. All right, so Marines poking out a little bit. He does already have a single sunk. It's not a greatly placed one. He is going to throw a second one down very smartly. TY sneaks in because of the sunken placement, not being super great. Going to see that Spire, so that's really, really nice. He can delay comsats and build a few more SCVs because of that. Additional barracks going to be added on. The way that this game is going, actually, he might only go 3 racks instead of 4. Just because he spent so much money on those initial bunkers. I actually am a big fan of the 3 racks plus 1 builds. Like, that's something that, again, I've mentioned a lot of times because I have to give credit where it's due. Mihu's really the only guy that was doing that regularly. And this is kind of like forced by circumstance, but I still think it's a really valid way to play. Like, you get really good upgrades, and you have enough Marines that you're fine and can put some pressure on, but you still get a really well-timed factory, generally. All right, the Muta's coming up for a bit of harassment. Fangzi looking for some damage. Now, the Mutalisk count is looking pretty good. He is definitely going to come in here and try to do some harassment. Going after the depot first, like, this is okay to do while you're kind of waiting for more. Like, a depot kill is okay, but Terran never really minds that much because the depot has so much health. Like, imagine how much you could have killed if you were attacking anything else. You can give up one of these front depots and be completely fine with it. You just kind of rebuild in the main and say, okay, well, that... You know, I have more SCVs than I would have had. Now, TY is actually adding that 4th racks after he's got his turrets up, which isn't super common, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. Would like to see from him the factory, though. I think that would be a more valuable add at the moment. But it looks like he wants to keep some heavy pressure on. Fangzi does not have a 3rd base, so that is a bit of an issue. In fact, he hasn't even started a 3rd hatch in his main. He's got a lot of money, so this is like... I feel like he's maybe misplaying a little bit right now. Maybe TY really threw him off with that weird 1 Marine bunker rush. Yeah, only 1 sunk in there still, too. He had started one before, but it looks like he canceled it out. Oh, this doesn't look good, guys. I think actually Fangzi is about to lose. This looks terrible for him. Yeah, Fangzi's Mutamicro just hasn't been up to par. He's losing a lot of units here. He's dead. He's dead. There's no way. The Mutas have done so little. Just stimming forward now into this natural. Medic's far behind, but doesn't matter too much. Muta's coming up, trying to defend, and this is going to end the run of Fangzi. Unbelievable accomplishment to get 1 and 2 here in the finals of an ASL qualifier. But TY going on to the ASL. All right, moving forward, we're going into Group 10 here. Only a few players, or a couple players left, I think, to qualify. And in Group 10, this is a very exciting one. We're going to have Ample going up against Action. So Action has been one of the most consistent Zergs that we've really ever had in ASL. He's like a round of 8 guy. He's in it just about every season. But maybe this season will be different. Ample, on the other hand, if you watch ArtosisCasts, you know this guy has been on a sick run. He's been #1 on the ladder. He used to play pure aggro, but nowadays he's really filled in the back end of his play. He's looking very, very good. We've talked a lot on the channel about Whether or not he can make it into ASL, I think that he can, but Action might be a bit too strong. Well, that's what we're here to find out. Let's take a look at these brackets, too, because these are very strong brackets. So we had Skay come up and ends up losing to Ivory. Ivory, of course, has been in ASL as well, as has Skay, but two players that we don't see all that often. And Ample ended up taking out Ivory 2-1. So definitely some strong TVZ from Ample so far in this tournament, even though he's kind of been known as a Terran vs. Protoss specialist in the past. Looking at Action's run, it almost doesn't even matter who he's against because I think he's such a strong player. He'd crush pretty much everyone, including other top pros. In the finals here, he did go up against Disco. He's a pretty well-known amateur Protoss player. On playing all the time. Yeah, it looks like Famous 2 is in here as well. Don't know these other guys really, but yeah, some strong players on Action side. So this was actually a very, very strong bracket. Oh, Alan was in here as well. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, very, very strong bracket overall. So Action versus Ample. This is like I'm a bit torn because I want Action in every single tournament because he is that good. But Ample has been working harder than everyone. He is the speed of this season where he has been crushing ladder. He's working his ass off to get better. So let's get into it and see who is making it into ASL. All right, so we have Action in the top left there, and over here in the top right, we have Ample. This is map 3, so they are tied up 1-1 right now. This is the decider match. We're on Polestar. My God. I'm sad sometimes when we jump into like game 3. Like, I'm happy that it's a game 3 because the pressure is really on, and obviously they're both playing well. But I would love to see those other matches also. You know, I've been keeping a lot of attention on Ample, watching him kind of grow as a player, and I love to see something like that. You know? It's A Knight's Tale is my favorite movie, man. I really believe you can change your stars. You put in the hard work, you put in the effort, and you are able to do amazing things. And that's exactly what Ample's been doing. He has decided that he didn't like the player that he was. He was going to improve it. Here he is in a finals. He's been in ASL before. He's been in KSL before. But it's like a rare thing. You just don't see him that often. So I'm absolutely loving this. You can see the Ample depot here. He's the only one in the world. It was, as far as good players. I don't know. Maybe there's a newbie that does it. But he's the only one that offsets that depot at his main command center like that. He actually, like, always does that. So, anytime his mineral's on the right-hand side, you see a depot like that, and it's on a barcode, it's Ample. Okay, so, yeah, he's actually got an SCV out here very, very quickly and able to block this. So, this is a little bit annoying. Throws the engineering bay down to slow it a little bit more. Of course, Action will be able to deal with this. It's not, like, the end of the world, but it's definitely a good moment here for Ample. Now, it is with the pool first, he's going to be able to bring down these lings and clear that pretty quickly. Of course, Ample will cancel that out. Here come 4 lings. Okay, so you're going to want to cancel this. He's going after the SCV, which is a little bit surprising to me. Okay, kills the SCV. Is Ample just going to pull SCVs? Is he going to make a bunker? I actually like that so much, that bunker. Like, if you look at this position, it's a very, very strange position. So the command center is going to be late. The hatchery is going to be late. The bunker is incredibly early. A lot of pros will just not make a bunker like that. They'll pull a couple SCVs to the ramp. They'll micro. They'll try to hold on. But that bunker, I think, gives him a lot of flexibility to kind of do what he wants. You know, whether he wants to tech up quickly and make less Marines, he can still just make a good amount of Marines behind that. I think it's very unlikely to add like a second Rax behind that. You're always going to want to get gas if you have that bunker. And, yeah, it's, you know, this is... I like the position for Ample. Like, Action has to be a little bit uncomfortable with how late that base is and the fact that his lings that he made can do 0. Excuse me. And you see a bunker like that, and any ideas you had about maybe doing aggression, any sort of harassment pre-muta, basically goes out the window. I mean, you'll find some psychos on ladder that will see a bunker and say, oh, I should make more lings to break that. But realistically, it's not something that should ever happen. So Action actually doing a really good job microing these Lings to kill off the SCV. We'll pop it. Layer about to finish. Really well-timed layer. Second rack's coming up here for Ample as his academy is almost done. Yeah, always smart to choke up a hole like that with the Marine between the bunker and the depot. So if Masslings were going to try to run in, they'd have to kill that to get by. You just want to make it hard for a surround to occur, basically. Like, even standing that Marine on the other side, it would just mess up anyone trying to get in there. All right, so that gas coming up for action, the second gas. Yeah, there's the engineering bay at a very good time here for Ample. Medics starting to flow out. Just a very kind of safe, good build from Ample. This actually, like, I really like what I'm seeing from him. Like, between the bunker, the timing of the comm set, just to double check on everything, the placement of the Marines and the depot and everything. Everything about it looks very, very nice. Now, the Speedling's going to counterattack. Very, very common move. Okay, he drills back really quickly, and a Firebat and Marine came out. So it looks like he was going to be safe. But this move is just to force those two sunken colonies. That's really all this does. And action will make them. He's not going to be one of these Zergs that thinks he can hold with one. He makes the two, and will be safe because of it. Now, Ample tries to stim up, but yeah, it's already done. You put that little building so that they can't get up and get good surface area to start. It just kind of slows down the attack. So excellent, excellent defense there. Good move out from Ample. Both players playing superbly well at the moment. Third hatchery in the main base for action. Not a big surprise there either. Only 2 racks right now as he does get his turrets started. I would imagine that Ample's going to throw down a third racks here. Like 2 racks into factory play is like a pretty rare thing to do right now. You just don't have a lot of flexibility with it. Yeah, the factory's a bit quicker, but if they go heavy, heavy muta, sometimes you can die. Oh, wow, he just put down the factory. Come on, scroll up and click it. Let's make sure it's the factory. All right, muta's, you know, trying to get a little bit of damage. I guess we're not going to click on that, but you can see it on the mini-map. Here, I'll circle it for you. Right there. There's nothing else that could really be but a factory up there. He's already got an eBay in the top right corner. You wouldn't build a third racks there. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, it looks like he's just kind of hiding the fact, yeah, there it is, that he's got a factory coming. It is a very well-timed factory. He's got to stay defensive, though. You can't move out in this type of situation. You have to stay back near your turrets. You have to make sure you have enough turrets because your Marines aren't going to be able to really fight alone. Really excellent turret placement in his natural. Looking over on action side, he gets a Queen's Nest started as the factory is finishing. And Ample throws down the add-on on the factory. And an armory. Okay, now we know exactly what's going on. So this is going to be a Valkyrie siege tank push, which is pretty much just an all-in. Like any Valkyrie opener right now, unless it's a 1-1-1 Valkyrie rush, but any like Marine medic into Valkyrie play is pretty all-in because if it gets held, like there's lurkers out, you don't have any recourse really. You know, you're going to continue to maybe all in because you don't have like irradiates to start shutting down lurkers and the Marines can't really do it. So it's like, well, what do you do? Now, when you pair this with the siege tank, it's like, okay, so you have the anti-muta and you're trying to push through. But again, once Defiler plus, you know, lurkers are out, your composition does nothing. So Ample is kind of going for broke and he kind of has the timing for it as well, just to be clear. You know, Valkyrie comes out before Science Vessel, so that's kind of nice. And don't forget, the Queen's Nest started, like, after the factory was finished. Like, just right around that second. And that's an okay timing for trying to do a tank push. Like, that actually gives you potential, once again, like I've been talking about, potential to kill the natural before Consume is done, which is exactly what you're looking for. Now, Firebat down here going to be a little bit annoying. Fueling's going to be sent down to deal with that by action. Has to pull the drones back for a moment. But some denied mining, so that's nice at least. Yeah, and that'll get dealt with pretty quickly. Muta's still trying to dog this Marine medic group. We should have one tank. Oh, he already has 2 tanks, in fact. Damn, that's fast. Yeah, don't forget, like, he did this off 2 racks. That's actually how it was done for a little bit as well, to try to speed it up. And this forward position is really, really powerful because he only has scans to detect lurkers. So if you just wait in your base the whole time, then you might be in trouble. If they run up some lurkers and hold position, you can just die to that. So as long as he has like 2 scans, he can basically make it to the natural knowing he's not about to die. Greater Spire is not a bad choice. Against tank pushes, this can be the quickest way to clear him. Now, he picks off a tank. I believe 2 tanks are up here still, though. Yeah, he's still got 2. So as long as you have 2, the push can work. No lurkers there burrowed as of yet. He is making a forward sunken. Another lurker coming in from the side. This is going to be a crazy game. Like, these tanks, this is super, super dangerous, but he's going to be able to make a bunch of Guardians. And there's going to be, like, 2 Valkyries, maybe. Just not good anti-air overall. Like, he has the Marine Medic, which helps as well. Like, you can fight Guardians with the Marine Medic. It is possible. Okay, goes after that. Okay, oh, that was a beautiful move there from Action. Sniping that Valkyrie. Really, really well done. Takes the hits with the mutas, gets enough damage so that the Scourge can kill. Really, really good. Consume on the way. Hasn't decided to make any Guardians as of yet. Yeah, these lurkers just kind of screwing everything up on their way over. Eliminate an okay-ish amount of units. The muta's going to help to kill the rest. You can see that Defiler is out now. Ooh, takes some damage. Mutas fly in, trying to pick off some units. Oh my god, the hatchery looks like it might end up going down here. Yeah, he's going to target it down, and that means the hatchery has died. This is a huge advantage right now. Okay, yeah, he's going to make a Devourer. Picks that off. That's kind of like a funny morph right there. But yeah, he has a couple Guardians here. So he has Guardian, Lurker, Defiler at the moment. He's going to morph a few Guardians over the natural, so he's going to be able to do some harassment. Don't forget, Action does have a decent amount of drones at the 3rd base. So while I mentioned before when you kill the hatchery, you generally win, this is like a very strange position. The Guardians have a lot of damage potential. He didn't lose that many units. Yes, he lost the hatchery, and I would put Ample ahead here. But there's still some play left in this position. Consume is done. His economy is better than you would think for losing a base. His harassment options are very good still. There's not a lot of air units here. Oh, the mech switch. Guarantee you that he is going... well, actually, I can't guarantee he's going Goliath range because he made a Wraith as well. So the Wraith might be what he tries to clean this up with, but Goliath range against Guardians, obviously very good. Sometimes you go mines or speed in these types of situations, these types of mech switches. All right, pulling this Wraith back. He did kill 1 Guardian, so that's good. Gets it back alive. Gonna siege up, but of course, you know, with the Dark Swarm, the lurkers under the Dark Swarm cannot be hit by these siege tanks. Some Goliaths are popping out. Yeah, not gonna be able to do anything right there. Gonna have to pull back. Lots of factories up. Pretty much time to lift those barracks up. I don't think you really want to make any more of those. The double Wraith, you know, the funny thing about Devourers is they're a support anti-air unit. They don't actually kill things by themselves quickly at all. It's they add those acid spores on with Splash. Which basically it's a negative armor. Like debuff? All right. The natural is up. Goliath range is about to finish, so Guardians are going to be out of the picture now. He's got a fair amount of siege tanks, taking a 3rd base location. This is kind of a fun position. Like, I definitely put Ample in the lead. This definitely looks like a good game for him. But it's like it's a strange mech transition game. It's not a bad idea to go tank push into the mech transition. You've already got siege mode. You've already got some siege tanks. You weren't really putting a lot of gas into vessels. But what does he do to try to finish this game from here? Is this going to turn into a big macro game where, you know, action can come back? Because I don't see a good potential kill. Dark Swarm plus Defiler kind of keeps you a bit invincible. Like, you can't break through that with mech. So, yeah, I'm just not entirely sure of what the plan is. A lot of times what you do is you kind of keep pressure on, and then you go like 4 base mech switch, and you just kind of try to keep some pressure on, make them cast the Dark Storms and things like that. This is like a slower economy game. He killed a base, and he only took 1 base, so it's like 3 base versus 3 base right now. 4th base being taken by action. Everything looks a little bit unbreakable. Are you going to try to go drop ships? Are you just going to siege up and try to push forward slowly? There's a few different ways that you can try to play it. Okay, well, that's not one right there. You know, he does have a few irradiates to kill some of these units under Dark Swarm, but overall, you can't really break through those positions. Additional macro hatcheries coming up. That 4th base is going to be some trouble for Ample. Looks like Ample is getting ready for another base down there. Double armories are spinning, so that's nice. He will have that 1-1 coming up relatively soon. Thing is, you can come in here and sometimes kill like a lurker before Darkstorm gets up. Not that particular time, but he dealt some damage. But like, look at how slow these push options are. He does have map control. Like, that's a really good thing. He has some floating barracks out, kind of spotting. He has mines all over. He has units spread out. So it's really hard to actually make it through. Ooh, the mine actually gets the lurker that was underneath there. But definitely some explosions going down on these mech units as well. A great plague on the vessels and the remaining marine medic. A lot of siege tanks are being made. Going to add some additional factories as well. The 4th base is quite important. Really, 4 base is kind of the magic number for Terran with mech. You can do a lot with bio on like 2 to 3 bases. You can make quite a bit and do quite a bit with it. But like when you're playing mech, it's really kind of come about this way on all 3 matchups, is once you have 4 bases, you can kind of do everything for a little bit until you start mining out. You can produce a ton of mech, get a ton of upgrades, you know, just lots and lots of options open. Okay, he's going to massively siege here. So this, what you have to do is you have to spread quite a bit so the Dark Swarms don't just mangle you. See, so he throws a Dark Swarm and a Plague down. Now all these tanks have potential to die here to this Lurker. You don't want to clump up like that. You want to kind of be a little bit more spread out. A couple Guardians coming from the side. Nice pick off. I wouldn't mind, yeah, picking off the tanks I think is really good here. That's worthwhile. Trading the 2 Guardians for 4 tanks is really, really good. Good move by Action. Of course, Action is like a little bit low on supply, but that's okay. He's still alive. He's taking a 5th base right now. That would actually be a really good place to have some spider mines, so maybe a little bit of a mistake there from Ample. A missed opportunity, I guess, would be a better way to put it. I'm surprised that we're seeing some Ultras pop out. Ultras in general, not that good against mech. I think generally against mech, what you want to do is some tech switches here and there. Like if you notice Goliaths are low, for instance, maybe you make a group of mutas to pick off tanks. You know, obviously Dark Swarm plus Lurker will kind of keep you alive. Adding in some drops can be good. And of course, if the game slows down to the appropriate spot, you can go into Queens. And, you know, the Queens with Broodling, that's like the main reason why we don't see mech. If Queens with Broodling didn't exist, all 3 matchups would be mech based. It's just, yeah, the Broodling is incredibly powerful and makes mech very, very hard to play. And that's why we see normally mech switches, because it's much harder to go Queens off against a mech switch than it is against just pure mech. Because pure mech has to wait a long time for its first timing, whereas bio into mech, it keeps pressure on basically the whole game. But obviously it takes a little bit longer for the mech army to get really strong. All right, Ultras have hit this 9 o'clock base a little bit. Some Dark Storms going down as Ultra Ling runs out. You know, Action has done such a good job this game. He's tied up the supply. He's ahead in workers right now. He's got 5 bases against 4. Although he doesn't really have mining at the 5th base. But he does have it up. And Ample, I like how dirty Ample's making this with all the mines and everything. Like, there's definitely some positives to how he's playing it. He's making it really hard for Action to move out, which is really, really important. All right. I think those drones might have been meant for that base. There might have been a misclick somewhere in here. All right, some Lings trying to hit up here, but he's got plenty of Vultures to kind of stop that. Lots of Ling Ultras starting to come out. So, you know, the thing is, like, pure Ling will get cleared pretty easily, but if the Lings kind of clear some mines, the Ultras can be useful when they get on top of Vultures or Siege Tanks. Like, Vultures basically do nothing against Ultras at all. Only the mines really add some damage in there. But as you can see, some good efficiency still here from Ample. All right, little flank coming up. Action trying to clear this push once and for all, and it looks like he will succeed on that. I think he's going to clear this whole side of the map. I really do feel like the game is swinging to Action at this point. Like, the game was pretty close and pretty cool for a while there, and I think Ample was ahead. But I think Action has done a good enough job clearing this all, getting these additional bases. He's actually mining, like, a lot of gas now as the 5th base. Gas is mining, but not the minerals. Although minerals are very important against mech as well. And, you know, Ample's on 4 base. Well, this, like, pure Ultra play. Ultras are not that good against mech. They really, really aren't. Like, they can be useful, like I said before. They can be useful in drops. They can be useful in combination with some other units. But, like, if you're playing against pure Vulture tank, not necessarily the best. So he loses quite a few Ultras there. I would really like to... oh, my gosh. I would like to see Action actually utilize all these drones he's made. That would be nice. I think he actually lost track of them. I think it was a misclick. But he's got a million drones sitting around. Now, Ample is coming forward with a lot of tank Vulture right now. Kind of scary. He actually kills the Defiler. The siege is up here in the front. Not a lot of units left over right here. In fact, there's no Lurker. Okay, he does bring some Lurkers through, right? So he's going to go for that invincibility. I think here you got to look at that siege tank group and you got to say, okay, we're just going to... dude, he put the Defiler on top of the Lurker, so when the siege tank hit the Defiler or hit next to the Defiler, they hit the Lurker and killed him. Huge mistake there. You can actually just have a Lurker under Darkstorm in this situation against no Vessel, and you can just feed your Defiler Zerglings and keep the Darkstorm there indefinitely and stop that push. So a huge mistake there from Action. We'll see if he's able to get that back up. Loses this hatchery. Okay, he does have another Lurker, so he can, like, prevent his own death at least. Finally sends those drones. Okay. Action trying to get back on track. 12 o'clock has been taken by Ample during all of this. Massive amount of drones going to the 5th base. But yeah, the natural being lost is obviously very, very painful. Good upgrades, though. 2-2. Ooh, the push coming down now and trying to eliminate this base. And yeah, okay, Action really fighting back well. Just should throw down a Darkstorm here. There you go. And that forces the instant liftoff. As soon as you see that Darkstorm, the base, you just have to lift off, outweight the Darkstorm, and come back later and clear it. So really good move right there from Action to throw that down. But Ample is moving around and killing hatcheries. Like, there's a bunch of hatcheries that have been going down here for Action. He's got 62 drones. He's got a great economy. He's got insane production. He can't even spend all his larva right now, which I guess is a good place in a way. He's definitely never going to get a big bank from here on. Nice little run in with these Lings and Ultras trying to clear these tanks. Yeah, and he will be able to clear that, but he did lose that hatchery. He did lose that hatchery, that 5th base location. His natural hasn't been remade. He's losing 6 o'clock. There is another base to the right of that. And... like, Action is just losing. Oh, my God. And he loses. GG. Oh, my God. Ample makes it into the ASL. All right, guys, we only have 2 players left to make it into the ASL Season 20. We're going to go into Group 11, and a nice finals here coming up in this group. We have Royal, former champion. He's been playing very well recently, and he's going to go up against Absolute. This is a great result for Absolute, the best I think that we've seen. We can see that he took out Stone, who is a very strong player, and took out Killer, who is one of these really underrated Zergs. Unfortunately, yeah, like Killer, Gameo, Saxry, some of these super underrated Zergs did miss ASL, and I guess this is part of why they're a bit underrated, but Absolute was able to take him down. If you watch ArtosisCasts a lot, you've definitely seen a lot of Absolute games. He is a strong Zerg player, plays a lot. Yeah, that's kind of exciting to see him go up against Royal. But Royal is like the #1 Zerg killer as Terran. I don't think anyone is actually better at dismantling Zerg than him. He's got the most builds. He's got really good times. It's like watching Mini play against Zerg, but with Terran. Looking at the rest of the bracket, it looks like Xiao Shui did take a map off of Killer, so that's really nice. This is generally considered the strongest Chinese Zerg. In fact, even though Fangzi did better than him in this tournament, Xiao Shui is a stronger Zerg player overall than him, but did end up falling to Killer. But that's a great result for Xiao Shui as well. We see Probe was playing, okay, and yeah, don't really know too many other players in here. But a pretty strong group overall. Absolute versus Royal. Let's get into it. All right, down here in the bottom left, we have Absolute. And in the top right, Royal. Royal has been playing very, very well lately. And I think I mentioned before, I think the metagame shifted more towards his style anyways, which you can mistake that sometimes for someone playing very, very well. Yeah, that occurs. So I think it's probably a balance of the two as well. There was a period there, right, when everyone was going like 5-fact and 6-fact pushes, for instance, against Protoss. Royal was still trying to do upgrade Terran. And now as 5-fact and 6-fact pushes fall off and more upgrade-centric builds come around, we definitely see better play from Royal, but part of that is stylistic. Okay, so we are on map 3, so it's tied up 1-1 right now. We're on Polestar here to finish it off. And that is a forward 8 racks at the natural here for Royal. Gonna go ahead and wall with this as well. And it's cross spawn. So cross spawn with the forward 8 racks in your natural is not very good. You're not likely to get very much damage. We saw this in the Mihu Larva game as well. It's just like, it's so far away. Your opponent has plenty of time to scout it, plenty of time to react. The rally distance of the Marines is too far. Even if it's in the center, sometimes it doesn't get damage. But when it's cross spawn and it's right in front of your natural, it's tough. But at the same time, like you can just expand behind it. You're not completely down and out of the game. It matters, of course, how well it does. Do you kill 1 drone? Do you kill 2 drones? Do you kill no drones? Do you lose your Marines? Do you force a sunken? There's all sorts of different levels of what it can end up doing here. All right, so SCV comes up, and he sees that Overlord. So he's going to want to make sure he doesn't show this SCV as well this quickly. Notice how he's sending it more towards the center. He doesn't want to send it directly in because the Overlord saw that SCV. So if you see another SCV shoot in immediately, you're already on high alert that this is most likely going to be an attempted bunker rush. So Marines coming down. There's the scout SCV coming in at the proper time. Notice he's leaving the other SCV in the center. Drone is actually going to go up and scout and should see that 1 Marine just walking past. Oh, I think he actually he might have just missed seeing that. Should be a little bit unlucky. And at 245, like, seeing Marines pop out is not the craziest thing. But he might start to be on a little bit of an alert. Okay, well, now, obviously, with the bunker coming up. Multiple Marines coming down. A lot of drones being pulled. Is that only 6? Normally, you're going to play, like, closer to 8 on drone pull against this. So 3 Marines come up, and he's actually getting very good damage already. That's going to be 2 drones right there. He's going to get a 3rd drone. Ooh. Oh, just barely doesn't get the 4th drone. But look, even losing the bunker, Like, letting the bunker complete, losing it, losing your scout SCV. The fact that he got 3 drones and he's walking away with a bunch of units, very good for Royal. This is advantage Royal. Not end of game advantage, but you're happy with this. You're like, all right, it was cross spawn and I got that much done. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, pulling back, you know, just fighting against these Zerglings a little bit. This is actually really good for Royal as well. Absolute, maybe overcommitting just slightly. You want to pick off what you can and maybe force some Morlings. He has this scouting SCV wrapping back around and checking into the main base. Is that going to be an eBay? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, so very quick engineering bay coming up. So it's going to be a fast +1 build here for Royal. That's a good follow-up to an 8 rack, so if you get a bit of damage. It just allows you to maintain pressure in the mid-game. Like, this is the #1 mid-game pressure build from Terran anyways, and he already put a lot of pressure on the early game, got a bit of damage with that, and so he's trying to stack on top of that with the +1 build. Spire gets started. He does see that get started, so that's, like, kind of a nice thing. You're not going to be as worried about lurkers coming into play, although that could be a fun mind game. And, you know, the optimizer in Royal screams don't make your comsat, so maybe a move like that would be intelligent here. Good amount of Marines. I think he doesn't need to make any more. He should probably cut them for now and go towards that saving up minerals for his barracks explosion. All right, the barracks starting to be added. I do like that everyone started to mine out those minerals around this time. I think that's actually a very important thing to do, to open up that ramp for Marine medic movement. All right, Stim on the way. And he actually does get a comsat relatively quickly here. We have that macro hatch coming up in Absolute's main. And going up to those additional barracks. Looks like it's just going to be a single comsat ad for now. Muta's already being made here for Absolute, so Royal's going to have to start his turrets relatively soon here. Yep, scans the main base just to double check on the tech. Sees that the Spire is finished and the Muta's already making, so that kind of will signal him that he needs to make a turret. Probably a bunker right there. Now, like, we're in a, I would say, like, a pretty even position. Again, a little bit advantage towards Royal. These Mutas flying in, I can't see them doing anything right away. Royal has a good turret spread, very good placement. His Marines are standing in a strong position to kind of reinforce anywhere he needs. He's got the 4 barracks going. Now, this was an 8 racks opener, so when something like that happens, you can push everything back a little bit. But the factory is going to be the next thing he wants to think about. And as far as Absolute goes, you're going to want to throw down a 3rd base somewhere very, very soon. It looks like top left is going to be that location. Looks like he just moved a drone into the spot. Yep, there it is. So getting ready for that 3rd base. And from there, obviously, going directly into lurkers. And Queen's Nest is going to be like the most common thing. Like, he's not going to be able to maintain this game. Like, he's not going to be able to maintain's not the word. It's like continually deal with the Marine medic counts with the 2 gas on Mutalisk. Like, that's not a realistic thing. Like, if he has 3 gas here, I'm like, okay, yeah, you can probably battle it. We've seen that. That's definitely a doable thing. But here it's like, okay, well, you can harass some and stuff, but and you kind of keep them busy, but you're not going to beat the Marines and medics with these. So we have the factory started just before 8 minutes. The Muta's going to go ahead and dive into the main base. He loses a couple in there, but does kill the 2 turrets. Going to start reducing the Marine count a bit. Loses another 2 Mutas. So about 5 Mutas, or yeah, about 5 Mutas falling so far here. doesn't really do as much as he wanted. A lot of Sunkens being made. Oh. Okay, I think Absolute is doing something that can be good. If you scan and see how many creep colonies he has ready to become Sunkens, you're going to win this game, I think, pretty easily. So when you see a build that looks like this, where he's diving pretty hard with mutas and he adds a ton of Sunkens at home, generally that means that Zerg is going to play counterattack style. He's going to wait for you to move out, and he's going to dive in and try to do damage, and he wants you to counterattack so his mutas can kill your main base, and you don't quite break his Sunkens. That's kind of the idea behind the strategy. But as soon as you scout how many Sunkens they have, you can just build like 1,000,000 turrets and not move out. So this is actually really good damage from Absolute. He's actually killing quite a few, but he is taking a lot of damage on his Mutalisks as well. A smaller group of Marines and Medics headed towards top left here for Royal. See, yeah, he has 5 Sunkens. He is going up to Lurker Tech, but it's kind of late here. Yeah, Absolute. There's not like a lot of great options here. It's actually kind of funny. He has more drones than there are SCVs because he's dealt so much damage to the economy. But yeah, he can't really do too much with it. Even though he's got those drones, he just doesn't have like the 3 gas that he needs. All right, the muta's rotating over to the natural, and he can kill more SCVs. I guess the one thing we can say is the starport's pretty late. So like maybe there's some world in which he feels like he can do like a quick defiler push or something like that. But when it's a 2-gas Zerg, nothing is really that scary. He's actually killed a lot of workers. But yeah, nothing is really that scary against a 2-hatch Zerg. So like, even in this situation where maybe the vessels are really late, we could actually see, for instance, Royal just add in extra fire bats and be like, yeah, I can kind of deal with Dark Swarm. I can kind of keep it back. I can slow it down. And that's about all he needs against a 2-gas Zerg. Only 5 mutas remain. A couple more are flying up to join in. Oh, very, very sneaky. Well, this is how you can tell Absolute plays a lot of ladder, and he does. He's one of these guys that practices more on ladder than in customs and stuff. So he's taking 3 o'clock, and 3 o'clock is like very sneaky. It's basically the worst place you can take within reason. Obviously, the third base of Terran is even worse, but like 3 o'clock is so close by. If Royal figures out it's there, it's just dead. But because it's so weak, it's one of the last places you would check because it's such a gamble. Oh, he sends a Marine up. He's just spreading Marines out to every location because he knows all he needs to do is deny a base. Yeah, as soon as that gets hit, I tell you right now, Absolute slouched in his chair. He knows that his chances of going into ASL this season are pretty much gone. Like, he really needed that to work out. He really, really, really needed that to work out. Now, he's got a bunch of lurkers over here. Okay, maybe I'll hold position here. You know what? Not a bad idea. They're a little bit out of position here. That's too bad. If he had a straighter line there. That's crazy. If those were over like an inch on the right, well, not if you're on an iPhone, but like on my screen, if they were over an inch. If they were over a lurker's width or so, or 2 lurkers width, like he would have crushed that army. Instead, he loses all of his lurkers. He loses his third base. And losing those 5 lurkers is worse even than losing the base, because like the potential like all-in Dark Swarm push can't even really be done now, because he just, look at this, he's got like 2 lurkers. Vessels are going to be coming out now for Royal as well. All right, Defiler trying to sneak its way up. Okay, he wanted that irradiate, by the way. That's why he turned the mutas. He doesn't want his Defilers and Lurkers getting irradiate right now. He would much rather it go down on the Mutalisks. Royal's not having, though. Chases that down. Yeah. Such a well-played game from Royal, no doubt. Absolute just hasn't had an answer for anything. The 8 racks pressure, even cross spawn doing good damage. The consistent scouting and checking for third bases, sending off smaller groups to eliminate them. Good Mutalisk defense. Never leaving with his full army so that he could actually parry the mutas when he was taking heavy damage. Just kept very calm, kind of cleaned everything up. Really, really well played here from Royal. Absolute is on his very last leg. As you can see, 69 supply. Not nice. 70 supply is where you can barely hold on with Defiler. Like, as you go below that, it's just game over. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is so bad. Can't really get worse than this. Royal's just waiting for his ticket into ASL. A good showing by Absolute. To get to the finals, to take a game off Royal in that finals, very impressive. This is Absolute's best performance that we've seen. So a big congratulations to him on that. Now, Absolute, like, I didn't recognize I'm not talking. Like, well, you know, he's trying to make something work. Like, here you would go Hydra Lurker Defiler. Yeah, I see he's getting range. Because the only option here is a Plague Grind. Like, you just start plaguing everything and pick off vessels, zone vessels out from Defilers and Lurkers. If he irradiates a Hydra, you make it into a Lurker, that type of thing. But yeah, it's purely about the Plague. And like, he's trying that. Like, this, it's a good idea. This is the best thing available to you in this really, really wretched position. Even from an ahead position, this can be a very good way to play for sure. Takes a little bit longer. It's like the most cost-efficient thing that Zerg can do, other than, you know, Queens against Mech. Other than that, it's like super, super cost-efficient. You can play a much lower economy with this. Because Hydras are only 25 gas. They've got really good range. And if you Plague Marine Medic, it doesn't matter if they're 3-3. You blow them up. But yeah, there's a lot of zoning that has to be done. You have to make sure your Hydras are keeping the vessels away from everything else. And a lot of times when this starts happening, you go 2 or 3 factory siege tank to kind of counter it. But you can see, right? He's coming up here, he's zoning a bit, moves that one forward, makes the Lurker Egg, as mentioned before. Makes the Lurker Egg out of that one. See, zones the vessel out. You can't get the radiates onto the Defilers. 4th base coming up here. I think he's getting vessel energy right now. That's a really good Plague. Yeah, it looks like he does get the Defiler this time. That's okay. Like, I mean, you're going to lose a few Defilers and Lurkers to these radiates, but plaguing the vessels is really important. Oh, I just heard Restoration. Very nice. So utilizing some Restoration at least. But yeah. Oh, no, you got to pull these back. Oh, you don't have a Defiler here. This isn't working. Don't do this. Oh. You have to be really careful about that. Like, you can't be wasting anything with this composition. All right, a good Plague goes down, but this is, like, still a lot of bio. Okay, comes in with the flank of Hydras, so he will eliminate that. Solid play here from Absolute with his back on the ropes. Very, very solid the way that he's approaching it. But yeah, you can see the siege tanks are starting to be produced here for Royal. I would imagine he has more than one factory. It looks to me like he has a second factory in his main below the barracks that's producing. So probably 2 factory siege tank. I think 2 factories probably better than 3. 3 was like more popular right when this strategy started coming up, but I haven't seen it as much lately, and I haven't felt like it's had good success. Okay, so yeah, you can see just how good Plague is. One-shotting all these Marines, one-shotting vessels. Gonna dive on some siege tanks. Oh, he has this factory here as well. That's kind of interesting. It reminds me of Reaver Tech against Defiler in PvZ. Wow, the defense matrix is absolutely insane. Hey! Now, hold on. hold on a second here. I was ready to literally call it for Royal winning. I can't believe that tank, man. That tank has had like 4 defense matrices on it. That's insane. I was ready to call it. Well, it's still... Royal still should win, actually. When you look at everything that's here, it's like he's got more bases. He's got better tech. There's so little economy. But, like, we're actually seeing some progress being made by Absolute. This composition is really, really hard for Terran to deal with. As you can see, like, Zerg is kind of invincible just grinding plagues. And when the attacks come up, they're pretty scary. All right, he's trying to clear this just with the Hydras. 1-2 upgrades. That is generally how you play if you want to play Hydra, is get a lot of carapace upgrades on them. And the attack upgrades don't matter as much. Like, the attack upgrades are better for Lurker. But you're plaguing everything anyways, so it's whatever. Much, much more about making sure that they have some survivability against the Marines. Yeah, some good irradiates onto those Lurkers. That's a little bit painful. 4th base is coming up for Absolute. Oh, the money plague. The money plague right there. Only 1 vessel unplagued right now. And that is a lot of Hydras. Oh my god. He's going to kill this command center. Oh my god. Is Absolute actually doing this? Is Absolute actually doing this? Like, if he eliminates Royal, that's insane. That's insane, especially after the game opened like it opened. That would be absolutely crazy. 40 workers to 39, 116 supply against 105. Dude, these stats are starting to go towards Absolute. If Absolute had a mining 4th base, I'd be like, okay, he's well ahead. That's the only thing he's really missing. And here's the thing. He's going to run out of gas very soon. It's right around 23 minutes that you basically run out of gas as Zerg, and that's where you really need extra bases. I think the most foolproof way to actually beat Zerg is to just deny as much as you can until about 23, 24 minutes, and that's generally when Zerg leaves. Because they at that point, they're producing, like, basically Zerglings. Because they still have plenty of minerals, but the gas is gone to nothing. So, there's still definitely that possibility occurring here. Here, just kill it, man. It's 1 Marine. It's 1 Marine. Just kill it. Yeah, he doesn't even have that many minerals with how crazy this game's been. He was pretty heavily saturated in those 2 bases for a while. All right, Royal moving out once again. His supply peaking a little bit. Still, just those 3 bases. Ling Hydra coming up the map. Now, the main gas is probably empty right now. The natural gas probably has like 250, 300 gas left in it. So we're getting very, very low right now on that income. You'll notice that his gas will stop going up as much. You're going to notice more and more Zerglings in these compositions. He doesn't want those Zerglings. Like, some amount is okay. Some amount of Zerglings. They're food. They are melee, so under Darkstorm they can be good. Really great play here, turning all of the radiated Hydras into Lurkers. It really makes their radiates worthless. And in fact, they're a roadblock. Like, the Marines can't run by because they take so much damage from the Lurker egg. What? That was weird. He, like, irradiated that as it unmorphed. All right, another little attack up here by Absolute. Loses the Lurker there. What a crazy game. All right, definitely needs to pull back there. I can't believe Absolute is doing this right now. Only 1 mining base left for Royal. Absolute on 2 mining bases. We're going to assume that his natural gas is gone. Well, I guess it's just about to be. You can see he still has full Vespene sacks coming out of there, but it's about to be gone. Trust me on that. All right, going to plague this drop, clear that out really, really quickly. Oh. Good Plague. Throws down the Darkstorm, but there's actually a lot of Fire Bats in here, and he doesn't have anything melee. So Darkstorm is not the spell here. Darkstorm can work for Terran in these weird situations. Yeah, the Plague's going to fare very well. Notice how he can pull back under the Darkstorm because that protects him from the Hydralisk range attack. But some Lings coming up with these Hydras, so we'll force him back. 12 o'clock taken by Royal. This is an unbelievable game from Absolute. This is probably the best game I've ever seen from him. And it had the worst opening I've ever seen. Like, absolutely crazy. Okay, attacking into this tank line is probably the worst thing that can be done right now. He might feel like he has him on the ropes, but like a stifled tank line is so good against Hydras. And you can see that, Lurker. You see that? It's actually killing the Marine Medic. It's such a pain. I actually think it's worthwhile to get Restoration against this just to restore those Lurker eggs. Okay, Royal once again pushing Absolute back, getting some good irradiates down. His vessels, he has a lot of low vessels here. The Hydras should be able to pick some of these off if it's targeted. No, just kind of an attack move there, not really focus firing. A lot of things going on, hard for Absolute to keep track. By the way, irradiate doesn't hurt Lurker eggs, in case you're wondering, or eggs in general. Okay, a lot of Fire Bats being added in right now. Plague goes down. Gotta pull back, gotta pull back. Oh, the Dark Swarm. It's only one Lurker under there. The Fire Bats can't actually kill that. Lot of siege tanks over here. Very much like, that's... You know, I've never really thought of it like this, but it really is very similar to late game Protoss vs. Zerg, where you start having to make Reavers. That's kind of what the siege tanks do here, where it's like, yeah, the Darkstorm Plague is so strong, like you just kind of need these there to absorb these attacks that are coming in. All right, a lot of very good irradiates go down. We are really, yeah, GG. Royal ends up winning a great game from Absolute, but Royal makes it into the ASL. All right, guys, this is the end. Only one more player will make it into ASL. And this is our bracket. This finals match is going to be between True, who made it in by winning ACS in the previous season, and Bishop, one of the favorites of everyone who watches this channel. Now, unfortunately, Bishop took out Shine. Shine is not in 2 ASL seasons in a row. That's a heartbreaker, man. Like, I love Shine, and I love Mind, but Mind was taken out by True as well. Wow, some really, really strong players in there. Looking at some of the other players that were in the bracket, we have Yerim 2. He's been in ASL before. Looks like he took a map off Bishop, but unable to finish. Cool GG. Only a Protoss player could have an ID like Cool GG and be taken seriously. Well, as seriously as a Protoss player can be taken. But looks like True just ran through him as well. So yeah, True versus Bishop. That is an exciting matchup without doubt. Let's get into it. Let's see who is going to be the final player to qualify for ASL. All right, here we go. It is going to be True here in the bottom right, and in the bottom left, we have Bishop. Yeah, this is very, very exciting. The last player that will be getting in. This is game number 3, so they are tied up 1-1 right now, playing on Polestar for that final ASL spot. I cannot wait. The style of both these players is very, very exciting. Bishop, of course, I think is one of the most beloved players that we ever cast on this channel. And a lot of that is because he has such an interesting style. He has a lot of Wraith builds. He was one of the first guys to really start going heavy Firebat to break positions. You know, there's just like a lot of fun games that come out of Bishop. True, I personally love his style. I think he's very interesting to watch. Like, for instance, that Absolute game that we just watched, he'll be in leading positions and go for that type of play with the heavier Ling, like a Ling Hydra Plague Roam, and he'll just grind that out in the late game. He's also just very aggressive in general, so you get a lot of aggressive early games. Definitely a very fun Zerg player. So he is going to go ahead with an Overpool, which has gained some popularity lately. And with the amount of 8 racks as we've seen, you can kind of tell why. And he's actually going to get a very fast gas with this. Oh. All right, Bishop is going to go ahead and scout. Now, this isn't in 8 racks or anything. He should be completely fine, excuse me, against what he's going up against here from True. I'm surprised that we're seeing the gas that quickly as well. So Drone comes down. He's getting ready to take this expansion. Moves away from that SCV. Doesn't want to block. So he'll be able to go ahead and make that. And getting down here and seeing gas is already mining at like 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It's like, ooh, that's very, very fast. Now, I would say without any question here, Bishop should make his command center, make Marines somewhat steadily, and just go for an academy rush. Just the quickest academy you can get, because this is hyper aggressive. Look at that. That was a 233 layer. That's very, very, very fast. So that's like 20 seconds faster than a hatchery first very optimized layer. And it's 30 seconds faster than like a more heavier economy layer on 2 hatch, right? So that's a lot faster. So you have to take that into consideration. Like a lot of the time what you'll do is you'll start eBay at 5 minutes. Here you're probably going to want to start it at 440 realistically. If it's Muta. So I think here Academy Rush very important. Getting your eBay in time very important. He actually is going eBay first. I disagree with that. I think that that's a mistake. Like when you see someone playing this aggressively, getting out layered this quickly, they're sacrificing a lot for that. You can put pressure on them without +1. +1 is not the requirement. It's when they have a larger economy that you want the +1 to kind of fight better against the Ling Muta. Here it's just about getting stim, getting range, making sure you know what's going on. There's the Spire. SCV trying to get back in for another scout. Drone is in the way, so not going to be able to get up there most likely. SCV just does a loop. And with speed finishing up, he does kill that off. So not a great scout here for Bishop. +1 on the way. Now, like I don't have like a lot of analysis here. I've kind of already said I really think he should have gone for a quicker academy. But like I think a lot of this comes down to, do you have your turrets up really well on time? Because True is very good at micro, right? Like he's going to come over with his very quick mutas and he's going to hurt you as much as he can. And a scan just went down, so he sees the Spire finishing. So you're going to want to start in the next 20 seconds your turrets at the latest. And okay, he actually adds the 4th racks. Like, I can't say that this is completely wrong. Like a lot of high-level players, I think, will play a game like this. But again, when your opponent is playing this aggressively, it makes more sense, in my opinion, to maybe cut 1 barracks. Like if you're going to have to go for +1, cut the barracks at first and add it afterwards. We saw someone already do that today. Royal, in fact, I believe it was, right? Where it was like, okay, the game is in a different state. We're going to make the turrets, and then we're going to make the 4th racks, as opposed to 4th racks, then turrets. So he does have some turrets up. True is coming across. Let's see what True can get done, because the turrets are not all completely finished everywhere. He might still find a way in. All right, good defense so far. Good defense so far. Yeah. It picks off a Marine. Slows that 1 turret. Takes a bit of damage on a Muta, though. Ooh, a little bit of a misclick there from True. He was going for a Marine kill. Didn't quite get it. All right, pulls back. This is very tense, guys. The last spot in ASL up for grabs between Bishop and True. Big deal for both of them. They're both players that aren't in all the time, but are right around that level where you kind of expect that they might become full-time ASL players. Very good turret placement in the natural. Really, really like those turrets on the bottom. Very well placed. All right, starts to move out with his Marines a little bit. True going to dive on some of these turrets. Not a big surprise to see. Turns around pretty quickly, though. His Zergling alerted him to those Marines moving out, so he is going to move into a more defensive position. Probably dog this army a little bit, see if he can pick off some units. Good movement there by Bishop, getting that flat line of Marines facing the Mutalisks. You don't want to over-push it, though. You'll get dragged out into a line, and that's where the Mutas are going to destroy. You want to keep a flat surface area against them, just like that. Very well done. All right, full group of Mutas here for True. True, by the way, still just sitting on 2 bases. 6 racks for Bishop. Not surprised. Bishop likes to play like this. We've casted games like this on the channel where he'll go 6 or 7 racks and just try to bust you. I mean, it is a strategy that can win for sure. Now, the Mutas break in and kill those 3 turrets pretty quickly. They're going for the 4th. It's a counterattack. So this all comes down. This is turning into a little bit of a base trade. This is a ton of damage. He might need to pull these Mutas back still. There's only 3 Sunkens here. There's only a handful of Mutas. Let's see it. +1 is done. He's going to go ahead and attack. Now, is he going to break? He's going to break the Sunkens most likely, but the other Mutas are going to be back. Okay, he backs up. That was actually really well timed, the backup. He had that timed out so well when the Mutas from the main base were coming back. And now True is going to start to whittle this down. Now, during this time, Bishop needs to replace those turrets at the natural. He needs to make sure he has solid defense. He probably isn't 100% sure. See, I was just going to say, he probably isn't 100% sure that there's not a 3rd base. He starts to scan for it. He doesn't see it as of yet. But, like, this is really important. If you recognize that there's only 2 bases, you just build lots of defense here and you're good. So I don't think he's fully sure. Now, that was a great catch. He's coming back in. Only 1 missile turret's been rebuilt. This will be very easy to kill for True. He's going to kill these SCVs very, very quickly. Another stimmed attack here from Bishop in the natural of True, but not enough units. Not enough units here. True going to be able to eliminate this Marine medic army. Even the medic's going to end up falling here. In the meantime, his Muta's back at Bishop's natural, killing a lot. Bishop is losing control of this natural. Very few SCVs remain. 23 against 21 drones is not a good number to be at. He is on the 6 racks. He needs a lot of economy to support this. He's not really mining gas. He shouldn't mine any gas. He should just focus on this. Now, True looks like he wants to maybe go for a killing move. He's got a lot of Mutas here. He's got quite a few Lings. He's going to go after these turrets. Not a bad idea if you can get on top of those barracks. It's a quick way to victory. Okay, has to pull back. Was taking a little bit too much damage there. A couple very hurt Mutas. Regroups up. More Lings coming down. Don't forget, True's economy wasn't really hurt. Bishop's was. Not that True has a very good economy, but yeah, he is microing very, very nicely here. And now in come the Lings, but the Lings are actually getting stuck behind those depots, but he is starting to kill them. He brings the Lings up and gets on top of these Marines. If you're on top of these barracks, you're most likely going to be able to take this game. This is going to be very hard to stop. He needs to pull his SCVs as well. You have to stop these Zerglings somehow, and it's just not working out. Oh my God. It looks like True is going to eliminate Bishop. We are so close to Bishop being dead here. He pulls his SCVs up to help fight the Lings. He needs to be able to hold on here. His 6 barracks all in. Looks like it may end up failing. He's killed most of the Zerglings, but loses even more SCVs here. It's going to take a while for 6 Marines popping out at a time to kill this army, that's for sure. And in that time, we're going to see more units coming over for True. True is just about there. Moments away, probably, from winning this match and getting into the ASL as the final player. Last season, he was the first player to qualify. This season, the last. Kind of funny how that works. Staying on top of these barracks. That's game, guys. That's it. You can't come back from here. He's done it. There's no Marines out except for like 1 in the bunker. More Zerglings coming up. He's trying to stim back to the cover of that missile turret. It's just not enough. GG is called. And that is it. True is our last player in the ASL. All right, so there you have it. After day 2, part 2, we have out of group 7, Larva. Out of group 8, TY. Out of Group 10, Ample. Out of Group 11, Royal. Out of Group 9, True. These are your final players that have qualified. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall set of players. We're going to have 6 Protoss players, 11 Terran players, 11 Zerg players. Kind of surprising, the amount of Protoss players not being that high, but when you take a look at who they are, Best, Snow, Mini, Bisu, those are basically the 4 best Protoss, and then you're going to add in Stork, who has been very good for a very long time, and Paralyze, who is my pick as the #1 up-and-coming Protoss in the world. I think most of you would agree with me after seeing his games. That is a very strong lineup, and I do expect to have at least 2 Protoss in that round of 8. Looking at the Terran lineup, of course, light from last season. Then we had day 1, Barracks, Mong, Rush, Sharp, Speed. From day 2, Ample, Baby, aka TY, JYJ, Royal, and Sock. Yeah, a great lineup of Terran players. Is anyone missing from the Terran players, really? No one's super coming to mind for me here. Like, JYJ made it this time. Royal made it. We got like a bunch of guys that are kind of like second tier, but yeah, Barracks is in there, Rush is in there, Sharp, Speed, Light. Yeah, that's like, I mean, obviously Scan isn't there. There's a few others that are quite strong that didn't quite make it in. But yeah, there's a deep Terran player pool. Looking at the Zerg side of things, Solki, Saber, Calm, Hero, Jadong, Soma, True, Effort, Hyun, Larva, Queen. That's an unbelievable lineup. The only really great Zerg that didn't make it in that comes to mind would be Action. Action losing to Ample there on day 2. So other than Action, we've got basically everybody. This is going to be a fantastic ASL season. Guys, thank you so much for watching these qualifiers. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you, well, daily here on ArtosisCasts and very soon in the ASL.